Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. North American stock futures, little change once again this morning, coming off a relatively muted session to start the new trading week and the month of June. Yesterday, we had the Dow up about 47 points, about 0.14 after rising more than 300 points initially in the morning. We came all the way back and then some. The S&P breaking a three-day winning streak, ending the day yesterday to the downside, but ever so slightly. The NASDAQ relative underperformer once again, down about 0.1%. Reopening stocks were the big winners on the day to kick off the new week on Tuesday. Once again, we saw all the airlines, some of the cruise lines all in positive territory, even the retailers benefiting slightly. Even with the pause in the current rally, the S&P and Dow just 0.8 and 1.5% respectively away from all-time highs, while the NASDAQ a little bit further to go, still about 3 and change percent away from all-time highs. Fresh two-year highs for crude oil once again this morning. We'll have a look at some of the energy stocks. They made big moves yesterday. Zoom shares in focus this morning as well after earnings, trading higher on the forecast. And AMC, what else can we say about AMC? Another $40 to the upside, or not $40, but it's trading around $40 this morning. We'll talk about AMC coming up. It's Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. There we go. Look at how things stand so far this morning. You can see a little change. Both the Dow and NASDAQ about 0.1%, S&P 0.15% to the upside. TSX futures here in Toronto 0.2 to the upside. You can see at the bottom there, both Bitcoin and Ethereum back in positive territory after a little bit of a pullback yesterday. Crypto's trying to make a move back to the upside. Interesting start to the day. Once again, we have a number of things moving around. Good morning, guys. It is a brand new day. It is Wednesday. I think I said Tuesday there to start the show off, but yesterday was Tuesday. It felt like Monday, so today has to be Wednesday, I guess. AMC, what are we going to say about AMC here? I mean, it was $44 and change in the pre-market after we saw 32 yesterday, so all-time highs once again.
Yeah, I mean, it just keeps on going and going and going. Look, it's hump day. It does, of course, like you said, feels like Tuesday, but there was so much action packed in to yesterday that I can't, I don't blame anybody for feeling like the week is more than half over with the amount of trading that we were able to get in yesterday's action. Now, I mean, BlackBerry also, up 18% as well, BlackBerry. So the meme stocks are again on the move. The difference I would say here is, and I just sort of noticed that BlackBerry touching right at those highs, whereas AMC has actually been coming back in a little bit all morning here, and it's finally caught a little bit of a bid at 38. There was Murdoch with the quickest scalp trade, or one of the bigger scalp trades you'll ever see, getting like 27 to 33, it seems, or something around that range. Who knows exactly what those guys got with 8.5 million shares. And leaving a little bit on the table, I would say, because we've done 20 million again, and all of it above $38. So, well in advance of yesterday's prices. Given the volume it has, the meme stocks are going to be play for sure. We're going to talk some Zoom, definitely be trading some Zoom as well. But that's not it. I mean, there's plenty of good names to look at on the list, and not all these sort of bigger meme stocks or reporting earnings there, Sean. I know MindMed's back in the news again.
Yeah, we do. Okay, just finished typing a note here. Okay, yeah, so AMC and BlackBerry right now, both on the imbalance locator right now, and both pretty big. I mean, obviously, you just touched on BlackBerry there, 900,000, and then AMC, 800,000. And these will grow as we go. Oh, look at Skills, paying some bills there as well. Up to $18. What? Okay, we don't normally see these big guys on here. Salesforce also on the list. But yeah, the sticky note is up. There's going to be lots to trade today. I mean, I love AMC breaking through this 41 level. Let's just see what happens when it does come through. But what a big congratulations to everybody again that's been long this name. It's been an absolute monster. I'll take my little bit of percentage there in Dogecoin. I actually flipped into some yesterday, not that much, but I was happy with that move. And now AMC today just continues, guys, to go. I don't have the chart. I only have it back to 730. So I think I'm going to change this and go back a little further. But I like the 41 break on this one, and already 19 million. We talked about it doing 500 million yesterday. Let's see if it does it today.
Yeah, going to be another impressive day on the volume side of things. 44.75 the high in the pre-market. Just unbelievable for AMC again this morning. We'll jump into that here in a second. Before we do, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Miss V.
Good morning, guys. I wish you all a positive, profitable day. Please enjoy the show and make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's indeed get it started, guys. We'll have a look at how the top 10 traders here from Day Trade the World fared yesterday. Big numbers to show you here. The number one, yeah, almost into the 200 level, 189.793 coming out of NASDAQ in New York. A lot of big movers yesterday, lots of volatility, so opportunity returning. NASDAQ New York as well, number two, 42,000. Chicago, some futures action there on the CME, 32,000. Look at all of these European markets, though, at number four, 18,000 coming out of Europe yesterday. Some more Europe down here at number 6 as well. So lots of opportunity regardless of what market you are focused on and what market you are looking at. We will jump right into things here, guys, with this AMC, because how can you avoid 18 million shares at 8:36 in the morning? So, I mean, what do we think here? I mean, 44.75 initially this morning. That was after quite an impressive run-up. We've come back quite a long way, though.
Yeah, I mean, you can sort of throw out, traditional levels, at least to the upside, out the window, guys, and start thinking about, what are the patterns that can try to emerge here. This is, like I said, it was not vastly different, but obviously different from what we saw in yesterday's pre-market action, where you did have strength all the way into the open, and then a bit of a, well, not a bit of a sell-off, but then a sharp sort of sell-off before finding a bit of a bottom at that 29, then eventually retesting that top. So this is kind of a stark contrast, at least for now, in terms of the selling that's come in. Most of that probably has to do with just the, the crazy price that we're able to see up here, trading at 40, 45. There's gonna be a lot more profit taking when you had that. We were talking $20 as a break, last week, and you're gonna get a double up in this situation. A lot of people are gonna be able to take, or at least think about taking that profit. And when it comes to levels for potential breaks, you can look at some of these peaks before. I mean, I would probably lean into like a long break at 40 a little bit better than a little bit more than like that than a 41, which does come on that 7 p.m. spike, which is always a good barometer. You look for those retail levels that come in the morning, see where it stalls out, and then try to play off of some of those. So I think that's why 41 looks like a pretty good one to me. For now, it's double bottom 38. But I got to look back to this 34, 35 area on any kind of a dip. If it does what it did at the open, and that's been the best, one of the best patterns, I think, is playing those open dips. And if it does what it did last time, you did see an outsized 10% move there. And if you were to come off from that at 38, you are talking about this like 33, 34 area, maybe starting it at about 35. You're right at 930. So I kind of want to go with that pattern until it stops working. And it's a bit of a different game here because you were running up and then buying the dip at 930, whereas, it's kind of the opposite happening here. But I'd still play that one off that 33, 34. I mean, 40 does look pretty promising up there, and who knows, maybe we'll be talking about 50 tomorrow morning.
I just want to, so right now the sticky note is up here, and we have a bunch of different things on here, 41, AMC, 35, some levels that Neil just talked about. And then Aaron, you're probably watching right now. What's up, Aaron? We were talking about what these levels exactly mean, and I've answered, and so did Trader Joe. He picked up as well. And thank you for all the comments and everything on this one. We'll try to put, actually, let me just put this in the chat right now. You guys can see some of the levels. Everybody asked for the sticky note, so there it is. Also, poll time. Okay, so wow, okay, already 600 votes. That's good. Thanks, guys, for that one. Will AMC close above or below 40 bones today? So let's see where this one goes, but already 600 votes. And you guys think yes. So let's wait to see where it goes. But okay, here's more notes. I'll have to respond to all these guys. All eyes on Dogecoin. Yeah, Dogecoin's good. Should you buy? I don't know. Below? Okay, Ray, I feel that. Okay, anyways, so that's going to be a good one. Look, AMC, we just talked about some key levels there. If you look at a longer time frame, a 20-minute chart, you're going to be able to see, I mean, it's not like it's rocket science here. It's the same levels that we just talked about. We got to see if this 35 holds. So that's yesterday's top. And then, well, I mean, we got there right at the close. We talked about this. I mean, I've just been destroying AMC the last couple of days. So as most of you guys have as well. I just want to play long. I have paid for shorts to go short though. We had run some shorts. So, we'll continue to do that. I like a 41 top. Again, this is not extended all the way back to the morning, but I do like a 41 break on the top side of AMC as well. We're already doing 19 plus million shares. So, hey, I prefer my med today, but AMC should be good.
I'm actually surprised it's that poll, Sean, is only about 60-40. I thought it would be a lot higher than that to the upside, but we'll see how things play out. Let's go to cannabis land, shall we? There's an interesting note this morning I saw here. Amazon, guys, coming out publicly stating that they support and back cannabis legalization. Now, they're not going to change their policy as far as selling any of the products on their platform, but if you read into this note a little bit, they're going to stop testing their potential employees when it comes to cannabis use and things of that nature. So does it matter that Amazon is saying we support the cannabis industry here?
Long term, yeah, it does. I mean, it's probably not going to do anything for the stocks today, but in the long term stretch of the imagination, these are the types of steps that are going to happen. When you talk about getting, I guess, widespread across every single state legalization, that kind of a move is going to require pressure, and Amazon is a big player. They've taken a bit of a stand here. At the end of the day, it just maybe speeds the process up a little bit. So this is more of a good for the long term, good if you're a supporter. Probably not going to move the stocks. And I'm just looking at CGC here. I happened to pull them up. Of course, you guys, if you were watching yesterday, you did see them sell off post earnings there. So, unfortunately, I guess fortunately, they're up like 1% today. I don't think it has anything to do with the story necessarily, but in the long term, it's certainly a positive one. And the kind of step that has to happen, Amazon just happens to be a big name there, specifically with something like a CGC. I mean, they had a wider loss than expected, and I think that's probably going to weigh more on the stock today. Sundial has some, is more about the rip and, I guess, the rip and squeeze, and then the sell off. So those types of dynamics are going to matter much more to the individual stock prices than a news piece like this. But it's certainly good news overall.
Yeah, I mean, any positive talk in the space is good news, but like we said, and to answer your question, Brendan, no, it's not important because, I mean, the stocks aren't reacting to them, right? I mean, I still think here you have Tilray 1750. We like that level. I just added that, guys, to the sticky note. So 1750 breaking on Tilray. I didn't even read that story, so we'll add that back right now. Without knowing that much about it, I mean, obviously they're never going to be able to sell products. I think you can still go on there and buy, like, I don't know, like cannabis-based things. Like little trinkets, things like that. I don't know. But to me, it's more about the employees testing and things like that. Like, it just gives it sort of an okay to the fact that, why? We let people drink, right? And that's okay, right? Kill your liver and stuff like that. No problem. But cannabis obviously still has that stigma behind it that it smells too much. So we don't want to do that, and we don't want to get people in trouble for smelling when they show up to work. But I am glad Amazon's not testing. You can't show up to work high. Or can you, Brendan?
That is not something that I can make a decision on, guys. XOM, let's talk energy stocks here. Another day, another 2+ year high for crude oil prices this morning. So we're seeing another little bump here for some of these energy stocks. XOM, have a look at Oxy. We'll touch on these coming up again here in the next few minutes. But this has been now 2 days in a row back to the upside here, but we're getting into some pretty significant levels. I mean, all of these daily charts pretty much look the same as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Go ahead. I mean, oil right now, I was just going to tell you, yeah, it's at the not all-time high, obviously, but the 52-week high, and just keeps on rocking. We talked about this chart yesterday, and I don't think we traded a name yesterday. So hopefully today we'll do something. We talked about XOM breaking that 60 level yesterday, and now we're going to be above that, I believe, today, obviously. 60-80 right now. So I think I always like XOM. I like to stay with the big guys, and of course my chart doesn't change, but 60, 70, 60, 80. I mean, I'm not super excited about oil, but you do have, I still want to short XOM. Like, I still think that up here is a decent short. I don't think oil is going to be up here for too much longer. But right now, there's going to be the run on summer. We talked, I mean, that's another thing. We have a video out yesterday about the summertime trade. And I just think, the more people travel, 138,000 people at the Indy 500 this past weekend. people selling out sports stadiums, Vegas busier than it's ever been. You know, and all of this relates to, not unfortunately, but, you know, a bigger name that I think and a bigger fish to fry, Boeing, buy airplanes, buy JetBlue, buy Southwest, buy a few of those names, and I think you'll do a lot better than sticking with oil. So to me, I would buy, you know, the users of oil, not the producers or the refineries or anything like that. So I would continue to be strong and long on a lot of these reopen plays, and I think that oil is a big story there too.
Yeah, I mean, when you get to some of these highs, and I'm sort of looking at Oxy, you know, Oxy was like that 32 level, and you start getting back into some of those highs and start thinking about where that short could come on. There might be a shot at 30 even. I think if it gets there today, we had a couple of trades in Occidental. It was okay to the long side. I mean, I wouldn't say it was necessarily gangbusters given the move. And it doesn't seem like it has as much follow through going into today. But I'd probably be looking at the short side of the trade if Oxy ever got to that 30. Just sort of getting a higher low kind of feel to it here. And obviously there is a bit of support if it ever gets back down to that like 50 period. There was a nice little tight cluster there and just below it as well. But as the day trade goes, I kind of feel like yesterday was the better shot. There was more volatility there. Might not be as active today, but Oxy, I only gravitate to that one because I tend to like the volatility in trading, and it's more of a comfort and feel thing. And sometimes you have an EV maker you like trading more than the most. For me, in the oil space, it's Oxy, and it just comes back going into last year, had some success with it.
All right, let's go to the other end of the spectrum here. We'll talk a little bit about EV makers to wrap things up before we get into some individual stocks here, guys. I just noticed Nikola, for example, here. I mean, we can talk about any of these, but 2.2% here for Nikola. We're back to, remember the gap levels from going back to last week on the daily chart. That high was 1620. We're at 1580 right now for Nikola. Yes, there's a whole bunch of news around Tesla this morning. We're going to talk about that coming up, but I mean, individually, we saw decent moves from the Chinese EV makers yesterday coming off of those delivery numbers. It seems like there's focus again on this entire group.
Well, what's happening is, and we showed a little bit of this in the last couple of sessions. You're getting, look, they all got wiped out, not wiped out, but they all got absolutely crushed. And I'll look at Nikola just because it's the chart. You just happened to mention it here, Brennan, but it's going to be the same thing. You're going to make a hard bottom, back into April, a bit of a double bottom as well going into May, and then we'll break the 50 period, consolidate a little bit, and then make another breakout. Now, not every stock has made a second move. I think the short interest in Nikola is a little bit to do with maybe the outside move off the bottom, or just the fact that it had come further to the downside than most names. 39 to 9 is a pretty extreme one there. If it gets up, and I always look back to these sort of clusters, in Nikola's particular case, if it gets to that 1750, I feel like that's probably an area to look for the short. Clearly, the momentum is coming back into it. It doesn't just come into the EV names. You can start thinking about, in particular, I mean, I like Plug, and that's, come on. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Gimme. If you get it wrong, I'm telling you, these charts were so good. And then if you flip too fast, which is what I do all the time, I abuse it, and it does not want to load. So, I mean, Plug Power is another one that just broke the 50 period, got above that 30. And like I said, it hasn't made that secondary move. So you look across the alternative space and start thinking about, well, what's giving you that look for a potential break? Plug's in there. Neil's already made a big time push. We saw that with XPeng, huge recovery in yesterday's action. Nikola feels a little bit extreme because it still has that short interest, but you look at Plug, which is essentially flat, and that's sort of gearing up for what could be a potential move. Maybe it has to pull back first, but everything was so badly beaten up. Plug 70 to 14, so 15 bucks, and now doubling from the bottom, and probably still a bit of a ways to go.
So NIO yesterday, I haven't really read the Tesla news. I know it's increased costs, but that's going to happen, right? We see increased costs in every single industry right now. So that doesn't surprise me, but this is what we did yesterday on NIO. This is yesterday's chart. So we were buying these dips, and then thank God it went back up and we were able to get out. We talked about yesterday NIO was our #1 trade through 40.25 here yesterday. Just unfortunately, we missed that in. I mean, we were just into so many different things off the open, and that was a definite miss, 40.25. Excuse me, just chugged a bunch of water there. Normally, we expect a dip, so that's what we waited for here and got it. And then in the after show, we were short, and then just managed to get a 22, which was a profitable end to our day, and we finished off on the high side there. But okay, so I like it. I like it again. I like it through 42.50. I think that NIO is just going to continue to work here. I don't even want to look at Tesla really today for myself. I'm just going to stick with NIO, stick with what's working. But I don't mind a dip. Again, like I'm always waiting for these dips. NIO does have a tendency to do that. I can go over charts and charts. You guys can look yourself. So let's wait to see here if finally it does dip and then we do get that bounce. Remember yesterday, guys, no dip. So we missed that. So this time we will put a 42.50 in there to take out this. I mean, the high is 57, 58, but we'll wait for 50. We'll take out 50 and then we'll trade it accordingly. But I don't mind getting a little bit longer if we can. And to find an area, I think around here makes sense, 41.50. So we'll put some bids, 41.50, see if we get picked up.
All right, let's have a look at some upgrades and downgrades. There is one of those. Here it is, XPeng on here today to the upgrade side. So $50.30, the price target from Citigroup on XPEV. Yeah, Canopy's on this side of the board today as well. 8 Capital with an upgrade on Canopy. HPE reported, Zoom reported. We'll talk about them. IMAX over here, DraftKings over here, and Abbott Labs. Guys.
One on the other end of that spectrum there, just to quickly talk about it, is Cinemark, and price target cut to 19 by Goldman. It's put in a recovery, and of course this is to contrast to something like an AMC where you're not getting back towards those pandemic levels where it had the flush at like 32, and some of that you might say there's going to be some change in behavior or whatnot, and things won't go back all the way to normal, but it's worth keeping in mind. Probably healthier fundamentally than AMC, but it just goes to show you that most of the trade, what's essentially happening, with AMC, you can't really look at it too fundamentally here, because when you're gapping to the upside and continuing to press, even after an offering on something like an AMC, where on the other end of the spectrum you're catching downgrades and sort of barcoding here and other names in the space, which traditionally would seem to be like they should be worth more. You got to understand that it's simply not going to matter. Like Cinemark could probably drop 10% and it wouldn't affect AMC. I mean, I don't think it's going to drop that 10%, but the rest of the space is sort of languishing, unable to get back to those tops, and AMC just continues to churn along here.
Yeah, I just, let's throw it back to Brendan and we'll just start doing number 2 on our watch the Zoom video. I warned you guys yesterday, someone put in the chat, and you're welcome, Chaos, I think it was, KHAOS, said that Zoom was the easiest short into earnings. So hopefully you didn't play options, because that's not going to do anything. It still could, make a move to the downside, but I did warn everybody about this Zoom trade and said that I like the upside more than the downside. And today we're getting a little bit of a move back up to 1.82%. But Brendan, why don't you take it back?
Yeah, just before we do that, guys, just want to mention this Skills, name we've talked about a number of times on the show. Yeah, up. I'll show you the chart here in a second. They're buying this mobile ad company, Aarki, A-A-R-K-I. It's a private company, so no stock to look at. But nice move here for Skills. I mean, remember this thing got all the way up to $45 at one point, going back a couple months ago. We did break 18, just popped up on a volume scanner there as we came back through 18. So Skills, which is in the gaming space, I believe. If I'm not correct, I'll check. But buying this mobile ad company, guys.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, we've talked about Skills a couple times over and over again regarding the 17 level. It's held pretty good. Here, our 20-minute looks better. This is that 17 level. So it's held the last couple days, and that's why I said today Skills. We'll see if it can pay some bills. Back up to that 1850. No surprise that that's exactly where it stopped. So we've already been up this high before. It's probably a decent short from this level. And I just wait for it to pull back into 17, and then we'll see. Like, I don't know what this Akari is, but yeah, they're doing the remember, they got into some gambling. They're into everything here. So let's wait to see what Skills does. I think it's in the right space. But again, this stock is a little bit off. Like it's made some big moves recently. We were just at 15 last week, right? And so to be up to 18 is a nice move. And I just think there's going to be some congestion in here around 17. So let's take a long on good news back in around 17. So we'll put some bids down here. And then the worst case scenario is, man, we hold it to 1650, Crimea River.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it does have a large short interest. I think it's over 20%. We'll double check on that one, maybe if you can find that for us, Brendan. I like the clusters that are in here, maybe just in front of that 17 a little bit. So if it wants to on the good news, maybe touch yesterday afternoon's bottom, or I guess afternoon top here, that 17.20, then get into that pre-market cluster in a couple of days before it made the jump to that 18.30. That's where I'd probably like to pick it up. You look at this 18.50, it's going to stand out a little bit. And had it done more volume into this, I probably would have been been trying to short in the pre-market, and it wouldn't have been, I mean, obviously it would have worked here. It's only done 700,000 shares or just a little bit more than that in the pre-market. So I wouldn't necessarily jump into this one until after 9:30, but I like that base and those clusters. I mean, there is all kinds of support last week in front of that 17 price. That's why jumping a little bit in front of it does make a little bit of sense. But it does have a large short interest, guys. So that's the other thing. Like if it's a big short interest and then you get that pre-market trade, I know it looks like a good setup off 1830, but that's a bit of a dangerous one at that particular time of day. So I'd probably favor the long today in skills for sure.
All right, yeah, it's, I mean, I saw 22.4, there's 30 floating around. It depends on the calculation, depends on when it was calculated. So, but definitely high for the short interest on skills. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you head over to that link and grab the free note that we send out every morning talking about all the stocks that are moving in the pre-market and a little bit on why or the news associated with them. Then you join us at 8:30 and we go through all of those to come up with a game plan for the morning. Yeah, we've touched on AMC quite a bit. I'm sure we will continue to talk about it throughout the next half an hour or so. Let's jump into Zoom. Zoom with a decent report. It was more or less in line with expectations, but it was the forecast, guys. They actually came out with a positive forecast stating that the new work environment with their hybrid work environment with some employees remaining at home is still going to benefit them going forward.
Yeah, I mean, we had several conversations about Zoom, guys, and we talked about it in the morning. It got talked about in the afternoon show, and it was more than just a decent report. It was actually a very good report for them. But one of the things that was discussed, at least in the morning show, was this is an environment where it's just going to be very difficult, despite those fantastic earnings, despite getting above the 50 period, despite looking like it was about to break out. You did have that roof at like 340. You have had selling on almost all of these tech names and having trouble following through. So that was likely to be the case. Now, you know, and I'll let Sean talk about why the short didn't make sense despite all of that. And you're going to get essentially almost no action in here today, which is kind of what made a little bit of sense to me. And the good thing about this is it does set you up for a bullish case of breaking through this like 340, you know, after the positive report. So it gives you the shot to break out of these levels today or in the upcoming days to get that secondary move. But I mean, you know, they guided better for the rest of the year. They guided better for 2022 as well, surprising the street. And it's hard to imagine that behaviors have not changed for the long term here. Some part of their thesis is absolutely right. It's just a question of how much you believe in it. You know how long it takes to get that adaptation and what the adjustment is like. Maybe it's in a 5-year play. It's hard not to like Zoom at these prices. It's already made a good base and it's bounced from here. But as to why, despite the lack of movement and despite the selling in the aftermarket, there was no follow through, ask John.
Yeah, we talked about Zoom and why we like it yesterday. And again, it's not. I don't own the stock. I don't have any sort of affiliations with Zoom. And I even talked about how, you know, Google Meet is what we use around here. So I mean, and it's been completely fine. And as far as I know, it's free. I don't know, but so that's good. But you know what? Zoom's going to have its day. I just wanted to mention to people, like, people thought that it was a short, but it's like a no-brainer short because it's already come from $600 in October, right? Like, we've already seen the pandemonium that was Zoom. I mean, this thing IPO'd at like 60, I don't know what it was, it's even lower than that. Yeah, here's 60 back in December of 2019, and it was just kind of doing nothing. Yeah, I guess this is, I don't even know where it IPO'd, but anyways, 60 is, you know, is a number for me. That's a low there. So we were at 60, we busted out to 600, and then now, you know, everybody understands Zoom, and there's a reopening play there, and here we go to the upside. So I like Zoom. I think the report was good. I think they're going to offer a lot of different, you know, opportunities. There's also the mobile opportunity that they're trying to expand into. So I just like it off this 320. I'm going to be long Zoom into 320 all the way down, and I want to take a three. I mean, it's right here. It's right on the, there it is, it's the second one here. Zoom long, I don't know if you can see that, there it is. Zoom long, good quarter long, 335.50. So we'll take that out when that goes, 335.50 right about here. So we'll take that out, we'll go long, and then we'll also average into long all the way down. And if it comes, we're not gonna average all the way down here. I like a 320 area. I think we'll see if that can hold. Obviously this 329 is a good spot as well. But you guys all saw what we did last week, right, with Snowflake. Okay, so there we go. We had a $17 winner. So Pokeroo goes, can we not get this again? And I think we can. So let's wait to see where Zoom goes from here. It's going to be a trouble spot if and when we break this 340. So get ready. You break 340, you could go to 350. Let's just see if more money comes flying into Zoom. I think it does.
Just checking on Palantir. We're going to get to Arun here in a second. Yeah, Palantir basically flat on the morning so far. Just saw this note here, guys, on PLTR for anyone interested. They got a new patent for a targeted sweep method for key value data storage. If anyone knows what that is, you can pass that along. Let's have a look at the overall market. We'll bring in Arun here and check out the futures and discuss what we need to know here, Arun. I mean, we're kind of hovering around this same area from yesterday once again, but 4,200 seems to be still in play.
4,200 still in play. The marker's still here. Yesterday's high, 4,230-ish. We're 10 points from the all-time high. It gets very messy to trade this market now because of the action from yesterday. So that move yesterday, there was a big seller around 42.25 or so just after the open, and that was enough to actually break through any support levels I had. Now that was sitting just underneath 42.10, and we got all the way down to the mid-90s, and here we are bouncing back up. The problem now is that there's a lot of resistance up here. There's action between 10 and 15. Then you have that big seller at 25. You have that top from yesterday at 30, and then you have the all-time high at 40. So in terms of finding trades, I am looking for potential shorts, but again, I'm going to be very careful with this. The bias right now is to the buy side. I can find shorts above 10 going into, the 15s, the 25s, whatever, using the 30 as a stop. But again, that's only if I get the proper setup. Given the fact that I've got to take a stop that's just underneath the all-time high, the reason I'm choosing the 30 and not the 40, well, because the amount of stops at 40 is going to be highly it's going to make the market highly liquid at that point. If the stops go, then you can get an easily 3-4 point run right through the stops, meaning the market could just blow right through that just on stops alone, let alone buying. So I'm using 30 for now. So I'm looking for 10 through 15, looking for some shorts. If I get the proper setup, and it does have to be proper, I'm going to be very slow to make sure that the setup is good. And then if that's good, I'll go ahead and take a shot at the short side. Flip side, we have the 41.85 level. Anything below there, I think you can find some longs if you can get a setup. Again, it does have to be a setup, and the stop for that would be 41.55. So it's a pretty wide range: 41.30 on the top, 42.30 on the top, and 41.55 on the bottom. If you can find trades in there, anywhere in between, then great. Of course, as the market trades, there might be new levels being declared as the day goes on. That would be preferable than trying to make a trade off of any of these levels, because it could be dangerous on either end, because the market could just go. And we've seen this market go when it's been quiet before. So it's been quiet, something happens, and then it runs through everything. All the levels and setups that we may have had, it goes right through them all fairly quickly. So that's the danger in this kind of a market when it's gone this quiet. So I just keep an eye out. You have the top end, you have the bottom end, and see how this plays out. There are other stocks moving. Maybe trade the stocks for now and then move to the futures once we get some more information.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Let's talk Tesla, guys. Yeah, a number of, I guess, minor stories to discuss when it comes to Tesla. The SEC, first off, commenting overnight on Elon Musk's continued tweeting, saying that Tesla has failed to rein in Musk when it comes to his use of Twitter. We are down here a little bit this morning. This move up, though, followed news that they're going to spend another $1 billion per year on sourcing materials for batteries out of Australia. So that move initially back to the upside was a positive one for Tesla. But the other piece of news to make note of, 6,000 extra vehicles included in that last recall that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Tesla, they already sourced a lot from Australia. They're just up in the game here and getting in front of supply constraints, because everyone is facing supply constraints these days. So I don't know that that's going to necessarily move the needle. It does feel to me like Tesla, and Sean already hinted at it, he's not going to be looking at Tesla. And I always say, if you're trading Tesla every day, or at least if I am, I'm doing it wrong. I need this stock to break away from where it is here. And obviously the 640 level proved to be at least a tiny bit of resistance on this latest little bounce here. And in the event of a rollover, I mean, I've sort of been filing away and looking back to that 580 level. If we ever do get a deeper push down, I think that'll be a good place to buy, because you put that double 540 bottom, and then maybe you can have some consolidation to 80s before potentially making this break. 640 and then the 50 period if you're making the bullish case for Tesla. So first things first is a day trade. I don't see any way that we even get that 600 test today. I don't have obvious levels I like. There's prices I like on a dip. If we ever got to that 640 again, you're probably going to see what happened last week and look at multiple levels on the way up that are resistance. First and foremost at the top, that 635, and we're 15 bucks away. So I don't think there's going to be much of a day trade in Tesla. You stick to your neos. Xpeng looks fantastic in terms of momentum play. It was an unbelievable recovery it had, and it caught the upgrade as well. So for the day trade, got to be over to those two names. You can look at some Li Auto as well. If Tesla wants to dip hard and somehow there's a sell-off that I don't see coming that's pretty deep, I got some levels I like that way, but Tesla otherwise no go.
Yeah, I'll call up a 15-period chart here for you guys, and it's just a 615. I mean, that's really just, you got to, I mean, I'm looking at AMC, like I'm looking at something that's moving today, but AMC right now, or sorry, Tesla does have this 615 bottom. So you've bounced off here. I mean, back in the 26th, that's sort of where we started. We started low at 605, got to 615, and then never really came back into that level. We did in the aftermarket, or the pre-market, this is the gray area, aftermarket or pre-market. And then we touched down again, and we haven't been back. So I think 615 high, break, touch, hold. So now 615 is where we get interested. And then it's not going to take out the top. I don't think it's going to do anything today, but we'll wait to see. 635, 615. So I think you're stuck in a little bit of a middle zone here. But with AMC, like AMC just bounced again off 38. Like this 38 looks like this is going to be a spot to hold. Like I want to go long if we break 40, which is right here. So we'll see about AMC breaking 40. I did. Okay, I thought maybe my chart was frozen there. Okay, It's not, thank God. Yeah, this is the 40 level right here. It's right, sort of, we got to get above VWAP, which is 38.50. I think it's a good long above 39.50. So 39.50, we'll take our first long in AMC, and then we'll take another long through 40, and then hopefully we'll get out at about $105.
Okay, let's continue along here, guys. If you missed that last note that came out on AMC this morning, if you're a shareholder, you're going to get free popcorn if you go to one of their theaters now. So that was offered to investors if you go see a movie. Energy stocks, guys. We mentioned if you joined us early on this morning, back on watch, another 2.5-year high for crude oil this morning. So big moves yesterday. We saw off the bat, right out of the gate this morning, or yesterday for energy stocks. They did pull back a little bit throughout the day, but most of them trading higher here once again.
Yeah, look, we sort of hinted at it, and I think we both, maybe at least we both talked about the potential short that could be coming up when you get to some of those all-time, 52-week highs. In the case of Oxy, I'll reiterate, that's at that 32 level. I'm immediately looking at this 30, its potential resistance. You are seeing this breakout that hasn't really consolidated yet from 27.50, guys. So if it gets to that 30 range, I'm going to be on that short side, guys. It's just not there yet. The volume is basically non-existent in the pre-market on Oxy. So I need an outsized move to get me to that price off the open. If we do get a pullback, I mean, you have to look at the afternoon. I mean, it's also the morning bottom at 27.75, but a bit of a dip in the afternoon just above that price. So support from 27.75 to 28 on Oxy in the case that this is already the turn and we're not getting to $30. Inside of the range, no mas, not touching it not on no volume, but I got some levels that I really love to that 27.75 to 28, and then if it gets up to 30, I'm looking more for that short style trade if I can catch it on one of these names, and I think it's likely to be Oxy if and when it does get to 30.
Let's just look at the imbalance locator again here. So Marathon is there, Rig is there. Other than that, you'll see Neil in and out of CLDR, Cloudera. He'll probably talk about that at some point. CCL's there, Skills. And so really, I mean, other than Marathon, I guess, there's really nothing on here from an oil standpoint, but we'll wait to see where we go from here. If you look at Marathon, this is still AMC, oh my God. If you look at Marathon, it's up to 14 and change right now. Generally does volume, 354,000 shares is not bad. It's a decent day trade. It's already broken out. I mean, check out its daily right here. We took it out yesterday at 1350, and then today you're at 407. So, I mean, the oil's been like, this is embarrassing, guys. Like oil, I mean, hopefully you guys are long this. Like it's crazy that we haven't talked about that. Like this was $4 in November, man. Like that's, do my math, 7-8 months ago, and now you've gotten 4 times. You got almost a 4-bagger in. It's not 4 times, but 3.5 times. So Marathon still ripping. XOM, I mean ripping. I don't know. Quietly going down. XOM's been a double since then as well. So for me, this is the one you short. You short the big guy. I would be shorting XOM, but we got to wait up here, and then you'll see me. And again, I tweet out the positions that I take. I will be putting on puts at some point once we get up here to fall back in. So I do like it on the short side, but for right now, we'll wait on XOM. That would be the name that I would short out of any of these is XOM. So.
Talk Chinese EV makers. We had decent moves yesterday in most of these. Ended up being a bit of a choppy session once you had that initial reaction to these delivery numbers. This one, however, did give you a nice trending move to the upside throughout the session yesterday. NIO, I speak of. Again, some of those numbers that we got yesterday were negatively impacted from the chip shortage. They all came out and said manufacturing and distribution was a little bit lower than expected because of that. But still, big moves for NIO, XPEV. We saw the upgrade for XPEV today as well.
Yeah, I mean, the monster move yesterday might have taken some of the wind out of that, and you can sort of see I had short on the morning on XPeng. First one was going to be a good one, and then we take a couple after that were, I mean, not so good, obviously. It had a long trade in there in the middle that was only okay. It's starting to immediately pull back in. So you are flat on the session, but I look back and you look at 33.75. That's a level I'm going to like on an XPeng. And again, we talked about why we don't want Tesla today, because you look at this volatility and it's clearly going to be a better place to go. This is the breakout that we've been talking about. And we showed it on Nikola. We showed it on, you can look at Plug. It doesn't really make a difference. We're in the space. You got the bottom bounce. You're crossing the 50 period on almost every single one of these names. And then you're just playing the momentum. Now, there was a good short off the open. The other way to play a short is to find that bottom and bottom pick it. So if we're going to continue this trend, there's two things you got to look at. One, of course, is the dip, and I already said I like that 33.75 price. Now, 35 even does loom at the top. That's a break that I will strongly prefer if we catch it after the nice little dip buy. I don't want any part of 35 breaking at like 9:30 or right into that 9:30 time frame. Usually, you get one of these like kind of moves where it jumps to the upside. Unless you're really quick to get out of it on that 34, just slams right back down, and then the better long is catching it after. Now, every now and then you're going to get one of these where you get a decent sized move, and then that was the high of the day. But in either regard, the dip buy, if you're bullish on these names, tends to be the better way to go. So XPeng here, looking for about 33.75. It's about 70 pennies away. Any turn off the open in that range is where I want to jump in.
Okay, yeah, everyone talking about AMC. Look, I'll address all these things on here, guys, like a lot of notes here. We've already talked about it, Chris. I mean, it's just a lot of people asking here. XOM, yeah, Kevin, that's right. Yeah, we are going to short XOM in the 62-ish, yes, near the highs. That's where I want to. I don't think XOM breaks the highs, so that's what we're talking about here. AMC sell, yeah, I have that 39.50 level. We've talked about that over and over again. And if you want the real goods here, we have NEO. And we talked about this earlier, but you can check it out. NEO 42.50 if the market goes. So we're just going to have to wait to see if that does happen. We missed it yesterday. We talked about NEO. Oh, this is a daily chart, sorry. We talked about how we traded, and then now my executions are gone. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're gone. Yesterday we had this 40.25 level. Look how good that was. That was the pre-market high right here of 40.25. It took that out, and you ripped up about $1.25. So you definitely had that. We didn't get long until this area here, and then was able to buy dips and make some money on NEO, profitable name yesterday. We'll do the same thing today. We'll wait to see if we can get a dip back into 41.50, and then we'll just go from there, man. 41.50, and we'll see if it holds 41, et cetera, et cetera. But we do not want to ignore the 42.50 break at some point on NEO. And the important thing about that, guys, today, I don't see NEO on here. Yesterday, NEO was on here for quite large. Today, we have Best Buy. BlackBerry, Neil's already talked about that, and that's doing some volume for sure, 10.3 million shares. And what is BlackBerry up right now? 15, so a good percentage point up there for BlackBerry. And you also have AMC, which just faded off. We talked about going long through 39.50. That's basically exactly, and almost to the penny there, where we turned around, 39.45. So I think we got some key levels here, man, for AMC. Let's just wait to see where it goes. But I'm a buyer of NEO. I'm just a buyer lower. If I have to take the break, I'll do it, but it won't be a max share position. Max shares will be back down. Daniel, guys, like everybody on here, yeah, no problem, Kevin. And then Daniel, the sticky note is right here. So if you go to my Twitter, you'll see it. Click on profile. It's at TraderTV Sean. There are fakes out there, but here, I'll just put it in. We normally get about 100 and so likes. Okay, thank you guys already. 106 likes. Thank you so much for that. We'll put that in the chat. So get ready for it, Dan, or whoever asked.
I just want to quick, before we go on here, I see another Dan with a super chat talking about high tide. Now, of course, it's going to be listed on the NASDAQ first day today, so you can go like the pink sheet and see it was trading, about a high of 880. So as we come to today's action, a lot of times, and we saw this with MyNet and many other MyMed and many other uplistings, where you do sometimes get a bit of a sell-off. So we're seeing a bit of that on very, very light volume so far today. I mean, it got a little bit of a high of like a couple of $10 prints that went off, and then mostly selling down in the 950 range. That's still going to be up on the session, as you can see. But I would be a little bit cautious here because some of that momentum that usually comes with an uplisting plays towards the actual day, and then you can see some weakness on the event. So a lot of times you might find that little bit of a dip buy or sell the news, giving you an opportunity to get in. There isn't much volume pre-market, so I don't really see anything too actionable just yet because it doesn't seem like there's a lot going on pre-market here. But I'd be very, very cautious just jumping on the bandwagon, something that got uplisted like High Tide.
Yeah, that's actually a interlisted company, trades on the venture here in Toronto as well. So retail-focused cannabis company there for High Tide. Let's talk MyMed, another fan favorite. Was up 4% in the pre-market. It has come back a bit, still 2.5%. California yesterday quietly passing a bill, that's going to progress into the legalization of medically psychedelics, so the medical possession of psychedelics in the state of California. So some of these psychedelic medical companies getting a little bump on that news today.
Yeah, and specifically if we talk about MyMed, we've seen in the past when you get like those, like the real gaps up that it's sold off rather heavily. Now this particular case, it was already making a base off of $3, so you're not really getting a monster gap to the upside. Still needs to get through this 340 level. And you look at 340, and it's kind of like a nice little pivot because you had the big monster push off 20 that got you to the $4 fail, and then it comes right back in and it attempts to hold that level at 335, 340. That becomes a bit of a top for the following session, a failed break through here. So you look at that 340, and that's the line. That's that line that you want to draw for a breakout in MyMed. And of course, you look at these clustered bottoms, and if it can bounce off one of these, I mean, you're looking at like a 315 area for a bit of a dip buy, which is right here off of the open. It's not a ton of shares in the pre-market, but it certainly looks like it's a bit worthwhile. And there's another name on our watch list here. There's a couple of names down that MITO Stealth Biotherapeutics. I am in the short in this one. You guys can read up on this. We're just going through the watch list here. They did get orphan drug status on, I don't know, the genetic disorder treatment there. And you're going to get a monster spike up in MITO, obviously. That's the futures. You don't want to see that. You're going to get a monster spike up right through like a previous 2 area that stalls. And anytime I see the move stall at the sort of the obvious 250, you had a multi-day run last time it spiked, and then the bottom end of this, like the second resistance was that 250 on the following day. It already put in a move to that level, spiking in there in the pre-market. Once it sells off from that price, I'm kind of like, okay, well, at that level I would have chased at the open. It's not at that price. I want to short the consolidation lower. It broke down the 12s. I got short. I got an average price of 11.5. It's held 15 for now. There'll be zero averaging in for me at this point because it's close to 930. If it spikes off the open, I'd probably take a shot off that high, that 245, that 250. But I would literally get out at like 215, 216 if I could in 930 if it pops. Otherwise, it needs to break 2, and then you're looking down towards that cluster in the aftermarket, 165 to 175. So MITO, it's the position that I'm in right now. You'll probably see Cloudera pop in, and then Constellation Pharmaceuticals is being bought for $34. So there's another deal happening, and I might market make on that as well.
All right, let's go to NFT names. We saw late in the morning and then throughout the afternoon session yesterday, these NFT stocks got some attention. TKAT was the main one. We saw a number of halts, in fact, the resumption of trading as well, and then halt right into the close yesterday. Got all the way up here to 24.5. We came back to 21.5. In the aftermarket, we're kind of holding 21.5 though as support right now. They came out with an announcement talking about an agreement to team up with a company called Cultural Objects Provenance Holdings, which is based in the Virgin Islands, extending their NFT exposure. So that itself is an NFT company. So they're picking up more in this space with this deal.
Yeah. First of all, it's fruit salad time. We just went and got another fruit salad here, so you can see today's fruit salad brought to you by our friends Kiwi and Grape. So we got some kiwi and some grape in there. Kiwi, a very nice treat, guys. Stay hydrated, have some nice fruit salad. You know, get some oatmeal in there with some yogurt, things like that. A nice, refreshing start to your day. Trader TV sponsored today by Kiwi. Okay, 24.50. I don't think you can ignore 24.50 here, guys. And again, it's actually, I don't normally talk about a lot of these kind of nonsense stocks here on it, but you see TKAT there, 24.50, the bottom there. So oat is bad for you. Yeah, I don't know anything about oatmeal. I just said that because, you know, you do get some of those parfaits and things. Yeah, there is cantaloupe.
Who said
yeah,
oatmeal is bad for you?
Someone said oat is bad for you. I don't know. Oh. But you do see there is some. So there's also, guys, not to offend everybody, because you know, obviously this is a big thing here. There is also blueberries in there as well. So blueberries, cantaloupe. Oh, I see something hidden in there. If you just see what's hidden in there, put it in the chat. There's something hidden in the bottom there. You can see that as well. But okay, let's go over to TKAT. Okay, so here we go. 24.50, guys. I don't think you can ignore that level. It's been halted numerous times. This is just a crazy. Okay, I was gonna say, don't tell me my chart's not gonna load. It's gonna take a while. We've already been up here, man. We've seen this stock go. It can go, we know that. There's probably a low float. There's probably a bunch of shares shortable on this name. But you know, we've seen it up here before. It can break that, even though we're only at 22. You're gonna say like 24.50, wow, yeah, it's not gonna get there, but okay. Just wait to see if it does get to that level. I think it's an important place to go long and short it at your peril. TKAT, the NFTs are alive.
Yeah, I mean, I look back to some of those like halt prices. So in the event that it does dip here, that halt was at like 20, essentially at 21, it's like 20.90 or so, and then you have the pre-market low at 21.50. So if you're looking for an area of potential like guest support if it comes back down, potential support if it gets back down, you're looking at that 50 to 60 cent target range there. If it gets below that, I mean, you could be one of those like sell-offs, guys. So it's a long way from that high. On the way there, hopefully we can get a dip that'll be actionable on TKAT, but that's the only thing that I wrote down was to catch a little bit of that support. I mean, there's also a 22.60. That'd be a little bit. I'd much rather look at like this pullback area, this 22.60. I'd much rather be looking at that if we catch it sort of off the open and like 10:30, and then you're breaking through the high later on in the day, as opposed to taking that one right at 9:30. So initially, let's see if there's any support down at that halt price from yesterday's action.
All right, let's go to another small cap, guys. This is BCTX, still up 100% so far today. Briacel, they came out with positive data on a breast cancer treatment that they're working on. So great news as far as what to look for today. This day, the very, very high up there was 650, right on the nose. So we're kind of consolidating around this level right now. 650, a big level for this. If we do get above it, start to hold, watch out for 775, which was the pre-market high. It holds below 650. This has gone a long way so far this morning. This thing barely trades on a regular day, so the volume today is massive on this stock. But we were all the way down here around 320 yesterday, guys.
Yeah, I've stayed mostly away from it. You'll see me short small caps. I've stayed basically away from this one in the pre-market for those reasons. And this is what the level 2 is going to look like. It's very, very, look, the volume's at over 10 million, as Brennan mentioned, and it's pretty big. But the liquidity isn't always that fantastic when you're looking at it and when it starts to move, guys. If it does break down 620 here, watch out. There is a bit of buying that happened really, really early on that I noticed at 596 even. So it probably has to get through that price before I favor the bull side. If it presses off the open and fails in front of that 750, yeah, I'd probably take a shot in that regard. But I got that MITO, and of course we'll be watching the EV space and AMC. And the other one is going to be BlackBerry. And I did mention BlackBerry. I know you guys, look, the meme stocks are moving. And we talked about BlackBerry at the beginning of the show. At that time, it had been relative to AMC, it had been stronger, pressing in towards the highs, guys. Now it's made a bit of a double bottom. It just crossed VWAP, a level that I thought was going to be actionable. When I sat down here, it's sort of come back into play, and that's this 1330 area. So if you do get a shot, and I just want to make sure AMC, I mean, if AMC breaks 38, I mean, it's only going to be short for me in BlackBerry. That's pretty much that simple. If AMC bounces and makes a run at that 40, I'd like to be able to catch that 1330 area, but it does look like the weakness that had plagued AMC pre-market has come and it got itself over to BlackBerry. And as long as that's the case, I want to be shorting off that level first. You got to be able to play the price action in both directions in these names. If you're a day trader, obviously if you're holding the longs, you've been absolutely banging, but we try to find the quick little trades there that we can. That's going to be the momentum. And 38 being tested right now, Sean.
I'm going to go short. Yeah, okay, good. I want to go short BlackBerry as well if we can break down through 1280. So let's wait to see 1280. BlackBerry is different than AMC, guys. I mean, AMC, people are going to movies, and there is some. We did have the big blockbuster weekend, apparently 100 million, the first time since pre-pandemic levels for AMC on the arrival. Yeah, here it comes. On the arrival of people back to theaters. Okay, 38, yeah, that's going to break. And when it does, this could be a problem for all those who are long. So AMC right now looks like it's breaking 38. We should be going short right now on AMC off this 38 break. I think it's probably a little bit worth something anyways to take a little bit short. We did miss that short there, so now we have to pay for 94s as well. So now we're gonna go short AMC 94. This is gonna be a light position. There's no way we're gonna get into anything heavy right now into AMC. This thing could still pop off open. I still kind of expect it to, which I'm not sure why I'm short then, if I do expect that to happen. But it's a small position. I may just get out of this one. There still is a big bid there. It actually held 38 there. So yeah, I'm just gonna get out and feel no ways about it. So there we go. We're gonna get out there as it does break back above 38. So I'm still so afraid of the long. I don't want to go short there. Small hit. You know, maybe I'll be negative on the stock today. But AMC right now, 39. We're still going to look for this one, guys, a 39.50 break. So just so you know, like the shares I took there was about 10% of the shares that I'll take, you know, when we break this 39.50, and then we'll take a lot more when we break 40. So let's get ready to rock and roll with AMC. I still like that BlackBerry short. What time is it? 4 minutes. You know, I think this is much different. There's not the gang behind this. So we'll wait to see if BlackBerry takes out 12.79. All this might happen right off the open. I'd rather trade a stock like NEO. See, good out. I mean, and there you go. You save yourself sometimes. Like I got out of AMC at 20. Right now, AMC is at 35. So we save ourselves a little bit there. Not to say it's coming up or down. We'll wait to see on that one. Then Ford, here comes back down. I also like Ford, which is a New York stock as well, around that $15 level. So we've touched there before and missed it. Man, these daily charts need to take a little bit of time. The high on Ford is 1533. This is when we told you guys to sell it on this red candle day, but now we're back. So watch out for a 15 break on Ford. Me likey a lot.
A new position alert, VTNR. I was talking, we were in the chat this morning relatively early, and VTNR was a stock we traded a heck of a lot in yesterday's action. I know you guys were watching that one. It had a big time flush in the afternoon and closed on the low of the day. But in the post market, it got to $8 and bounced. It flushed through there in the pre-market here, but it has now retested that level. So I'll play the fade off of this 8 even break. I actually got 8 to the penny here. Now, if it does come back to the upside, I'm probably only giving this at the open with only 3 minutes to go to these like 15s to 20s, because if it pops, I like this area here. This is right at 4 o'clock, got to 870, and then pre-market highs in that same range. So I'd rather take 2 cracks at it than 1. So if I can only risk about 15 to 20 cents on the initial short, that's the way that I want to go here with VTNR. I mean, BlackBerry continues to sort of hang out on the low end of its range. And just to go back to TKAT, it's starting to fall off. But the volume is still pretty low. It's a pretty close level, but if it holds that 2060 to, I guess, 21 area that we're talking about, that's the area that I'd be looking for a bit of a bounce. If it breaks below that, I mean, there's obviously nothing until you get to about 18 even.
37.60. Like I'm just trying. Like AMC's back down now, and I'm just trying to find a level here. You know, where we may, where we may like this. There's really nothing here on the daily chart. We haven't been up here forever, so like maybe. I don't know how many years, but we just got long. So something must have just triggered here. So we're long AMC at 38.05 right now. We don't necessarily want that. What just triggered there? Stop order just triggered. See my 40, my 39.50 order just triggered there. So we got to get out of this one. Oh, damn it. Let's put an offer out and see if we just get out. We don't want to be long this name right this second. Whenever you get a bad trigger, we talk about it all the time and just get out of your trade. So there it is. We'll get out again. It's going to show us down on AMC, but now I got to put that back in, man. I do like this 39.50 break. It may even be better now, man. What about a 39 break? Let's see if that happens with only a minute and a half to go. Quickly, guys. Big move up here in BTC. Hello. Yes, sir. We'll fire off some hot dogs for this one as Bitcoin continues to rock and roll. We've been buying throughout all of these dips. So if you want to talk some crypto, I'm here for you. But what a great move that's been. Ethereum also going off right now. So everything in crypto space, guys, going off 27 to 20. I mean, it's not up that much, but we come in 2,600. Now you're up about 80 bucks, 90 bucks from there. So watch out. It just looks like a big move, but it's just breaking through the range.
Oh
so
my goodness, BlackBerry, you got to be kidding.
how much did that tank?
It just broke 13 and went to like 12.70. I mean, forget about
short.
catching that fill. So the short obviously pretty good. We got about a minute to go. For now, BlackBerry looks like it's holding the pre-market bottom. Obviously, that's going to be at that 12.50 level. So you do want to see, like, I mean, you talk about the snapback action that could be on the stock. This would be the level that it happens. I thought this would be more of an at 930, not at 929 and a half kind of deal, but we'll see. We'll see on BlackBerry. If it pops in, I still like 1330 as my area to short on any kind of a pop, even though we're now 60 pennies away from it. So AMC actually only at like 37.60. There looks like an outsized move to the downside here for BlackBerry. Not much of a surprise. I favor that one short anytime. I'm going to go in the meme stocks to the downside. VTNR is working in the money, but so was MITO. I'm going to be looking at a BlackBerry right after this open. Let's drop this bell. 5, 4, 3, Miss V with the hair back. Let's get this party started on hump day.
All right, we are open. Yeah, we have that BlackBerry short off that. Remember, we were talking about that 1280. So we're short rate here on BlackBerry. If it rips, whatever. We've already got the banger now. Okay, we're into Zoom right now. So that's another one. We just took a little bit of a long on this dip. Let's see. We can keep averaging down on Zoom until it gets really low into 320-ish is where we'll stop averaging. But right now we got the Zoom long. I got another bid down here in the 28s. We'll put one in the 24s and then see what happens. But look at BlackBerry, guys. The destruction's already happening. Let's go. 20 pennies in the money. I'm here for you.
Yeah, VTNR already about 25 in the money. Is at 8 breaks. Now remember, pre-market low was going to be 760, so I want to make sure I take some out in front of that level. It looks like it's going to be a good one here. Is AMC now at 36.60? Did I see that right? 36.60 on AMC. The dip is coming in some of these names, and of course, we talk back to that 34 area, 34, 35. If there's any kind of a turn, I think that's where it could be.
Yeah, man, that sucks because of course we had that short on AMC and now it's just taking. Remember, I was short $38 on that break, which was good. We should have held it, but here you come screaming to the downside, guys. So Zoom right now, $1.50 in the money. Hot dog time for Zoom. I mean, Zoom we're long at 330, guys. It's printing 332.50, so that's a $2 winner for Zoom. This is a 15-cent winner right now for BlackBerry, so we're just rocking and rolling. And looks like Neo wants to take out the top as well, 42.50.
Yeah, and we're still looking for that little bit of a bounce here on AMC. Of course, I'm also going to be looking, and we talked about this one. Where is it? Come on, BlackBerry, give me. Load. Doesn't want to. This is the first pop that it's trying to make here off of that bottom. It was going to be 1330. Now this pop looks like it's going to be about to 13 even as the first test. So I want to take multiple shots here because the volume is so good. But first stop 13s. Second try will be at 1330. MITO rolled through 2 even, so I got to take more profit off on that particular name, but it also rolls into the money.
Okay, so Zoom does go upside here. Zoom, Neo we have as well now. Neo takes that, but remember what we said, guys? We're not going to hit this break that hard. We are waiting for dips back down. So we did take that in case it ran like yesterday. So that's why we're pretty light right now on NIO. But we are waiting for that to come in. We do have another play here that's supposed to be good and maybe good here, and that's going to be Tilray right now. So Weed Batman is in the building. We have Tilray long. It broke that top 1750. We added that on our watch list, and now here we go to the upside, 57s and 60s. So we're going to hold for more than this, but a nice little dime piece right there. BlackBerry comes back in. We get more short. This is why you clean it up, guys. Like we just took out 30 cents there on the short side. Remember, we were short 80s, and now we're reloaded on BlackBerry. So Tilray going, Zoom going, Neo trying to go. It's a good morning so far, boys and girls.
AMC just made a huge bounce. Now, of course, we talked about that 35. You're going to miss it because it goes 35.50. Stalls shy of that level by about 50 cents, and now we're screaming back into the upside. The 40 remains in play. I mean, I didn't trigger on mine, so the 40 still remains in play for a potential break and a huge move. Obviously, I'm going to get out of that BlackBerry when it breaks 13. Hunt for that other price that we like at 13.30. I wanted 2 cracks at it. That's going to be the first. AMC could roll over, and if AMC rolls, I definitely want to be shorting BlackBerry in front of that 13.30 even more. AMC back below 38, so it's time to get back in.
Yeah, we're short. We're short right now. AMC. We'll see where this one wants to go. Or sorry, BlackBerry. We took more short there, so we're loaded up on this one. That's for sure. And then NEO just came all the way back down. So we went all. This is what I'm talking about when you look at these stocks, guys. Like you can go up, down, and around on these, and you have no idea where you're going. So we'll wait to see on NEO. Average in. This is all part of the plan, man. We do want this stock to come a little bit lower. We'll see about 41.50. Where's my next bid? 41.60 on NEO. So if that can come through, that'll be a good one. But for right now, man, we're short a lot of shares now on BlackBerry. Look at that. Look at that offer. 13.15 we got short, guys. But right now we're just short at 13. Give it to him, Brendo.
Another one in the EV space just popping up here. XPEV, guys. We saw the upgrade on this one. Volume coming back in as well on the buy side through 34.75. That was that high from yesterday. So back towards day highs for XPEV, guys.
Yeah, that one's going to kick me in the butt. Of course, we talked about BlackBerry. You know we wanted that one. I said it's 2 cracks. We'll take the first one in front of 13. We get out. I take the second shot off 13.30, which is the one I definitely like a little bit better. It just broke back below 13 even, and then is testing this level. So I'll go ahead and take the first scalp off in that range if I can. Look towards those lows of day. If you know this, BlackBerry is just the one we've tried to beat up on. It's just I prefer the short over AMC in BlackBerry. I still have that MITO and I don't want to ignore it altogether, but it did make that move that we expected through that $2 range. Come on, here we go. Through that $2 range. Of course, it pops back up. I'm sitting here on the bid at like 192. That's where it bounced off of. Looks like it's probably going to be a short in front of 210. That looks like it's going to be a good one. And of course, we'll ride the wave. Just got some fills on BlackBerry there because I know you guys are tracking AMC. I'll go over just to quickly show you the strength is coming back in. So we scalped some out of BlackBerry. If AMC takes the top off, very likely I'll be out in front of 13.30 and then looking for the high of the day. So I want to be playing shorts on BlackBerry and then long plays in the meme names. I'll keep that over to AMC if it makes that move. But still can't even get through that 39, let alone 40 break.
Okay, just getting my orders set up here to make sure that we don't get too smoked here if NEO does wind up going back to the downside. I don't think it will, but we'll wait on that one. Just refreshing some of my positions, make sure they're fine. So Zoom Media right now, we're up to these levels that we like. So we're long Zoom here, $30. It's in the money. This does go in the money, $4 for us. So that's a smile all day long. Well, hopefully it can continue to go up for us. Tilray's been like, we got out somewhere at 65, and all of a sudden it just crashed right back down there. So this is going to have to be one that we're just going to have to hold and like watch it go either down or up. Hopefully not down. But, I'm not going to be dropping this thing until this level anyways, 1685. So we'll see if Tilray could do anything. We told you that Amazon story was kind of a nothing, but we'll wait. We'll see. 1785, yeah, good. Just looking at some longer term trades here. That's a good little level, that's 1670. I kind of like it right here. Maybe even breaking 17, guys, is something. So we'll average into 17, but for right now, Tilray making us a loser if we're not already a big one here today. So Tilray to the downside. We've cashed out, but we're waiting for it. NEO, we're about to get longer, man. It's dropping. This is that bid that we're waiting for, guys, on NIO.
And speaking of dropping, XPEV also making its move to the downside rather slowly, at least for, well, not rather slowly, but slowing down at least for now, making its first turn in front of 34. I said I want to be a little bit patient on this dip, but it's getting close to that 33.75. So it's about to be time to start to get into XPEV. We wanted to wait for that dip. It's approaching pre-market lows. I took the first crack here at 34.27, 33.75 was that level. Brendan, what's up, bud?
Another one to look at, guys. Moderna just popping up here. My daily chart is frozen. Just broke 190 there right at the top on volume, guys. They signed another manufacturing agreement with another company for their vaccine today. So this is all-time highs, guys, for mRNA.
Yeah. We talked about that one and why we liked it. Moderna was my pick over Pfizer just because I felt like they have the solution a lot easier than most. Look at this Best Buy. I keep calling it Best Buy, but look at BlackBerry, man. The idea generation, bang, we hit that. We just continue to go short, man, and now we're cashing in monstrous here on a big monster trade for me on BlackBerry, so that's good. Zoom came all the way back in, so I guess we should have took some profit up there. I still like it. I still hang my hat on this one, so let's wait to see Zoom. But the market, we can't control these positions, guys, if the market's going to fall down, so we got to wait to see what happens. But cashing out of BlackBerry, definitely a good move here into the 80s, man. We're taking multiple pieces increases on this one. So that's a big swish over here for BlackBerry.
Yeah, I mean, I just got to increase myself out at that 1280 level. I'm going to hang on to it. For me, it's short BlackBerry for days, and despite the fact that I obviously own one, XPeng just made a little bit of a move to the back to the upside here. It stalled and it bounced off 34. I mean, but 34.13s. I tried to get some more shares off that little bounce, but did miss it. So if we get a consolidation, I'll see if I can't get more around the price that we got. I got 34 quarters now, maybe even a little bit better if it does make another dip, guys. So BlackBerry looking pretty solid to the south side. Also, that MITO, I can tell you, it's now at 190. So we get some shares out there right at $190. All the shorts have been up in that 210 range. So you get that 10% move. And of course, I targeted that 175 as an ultimate target. So after that, no moss, guys. It's been a good morning so far. But XPeng, I need to get some more shares of that. It's been one of the things about these dip buys, and NEO's probably a little bit more structured because it has a little more volume, but the snapback can be so violent. Sometimes you have to stand in front of it like an XPeng here, and I wish I'd gotten more in front of 34, but that 33.75 was a level. It didn't quite get even within 25 to 30 cents, so good long for now. Just wish I had more shares.
Okay, we do have our guest of the day coming up at 10:45. What up, Beat?
Another one just popping up here, guys. AI. Remember C3 AI IPO late last year? Nice move yesterday to start the week. We're popping back above 71 here. C3 AI set to report aftermarket tonight, guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of big names out there that have been suffering and then are probably good companies, especially recent IPOs like C3 AI. Okay, we talked about Nikola earlier. Let's see if there's anything happening with that stock. I know that's a name that a lot of people like to trade. Oh man, we didn't even talk about DraftKings. Or maybe we did when I was gone. Come on, Nikola. Okay,
I don't
now
think
my
we
chart's
did.
not loading. Up to 16, 4.5% now. A nice little run up for Nikola. I like to short anything that rips on Nikola, but for right now, guys, BlackBerry's still back into the 80s. We're still hella short this one, 13.39, 13.13. And you guys know, there's my chart not switching again. You know that when I average in like this, that we're taking out the big stick. And again, we don't have a problem telling you that. So it's hot dog time for now, but we got to wait for everything else, man. NEO's coming back to life a little bit. So that's a nice little bid that we took downside. NEO coming back to life, BlackBerry, and then Zoom just hovering for a dollar loser, but we're waiting for that one. I like to average in on Zoom. We've talked about that.
We're going to plane crash it here into XPeng. Now remember, there's that 35 break. This is the top coming in 35 for XPeng. I just take some right at 34.75. Of course, it's going to be a nice little winner off the bottom. I told you the only regret was that I wasn't able to get more shares. We still like to break out at 35. It's certainly a decent trade there through the high, but the dip buy is what we wanted. The dip buy is what we got. I just got out as well. Or didn't just get out. I was actually looking to get into more shares, I should say, of BlackBerry. As XPeng could come in to the long side, but BlackBerry testing back up towards that 13.30 area. I still like the shorts off 13.30. I'm going to stick with it until it doesn't work anymore, but XPeng through that 35 should be potentially that next little fill. So we got the dip and now looking for the breakout. BlackBerry as well, looking for a reload.
Okay, yeah, we did. We were able to get out of some NEO there for a nice win, guys. Upside there, 30s and 40s for NEO. Our average price 42.20. So we did take that break, but we did average in down there. This is our bigger trade rate here, 42.20. That's why you see that plus that is equaling this. So that's how we average in, and hopefully a good one there. I did get a little nervous about BlackBerry there, so we did take some out again at 97. And that's just what I'm going to do until it tells me something otherwise. Tilray coming to the downside as well right now, but we weren't able to pick any up. That's unbelievable. We're waiting at 16, and it got to 18. This has happened to me too many times. We would have been huge on Tilray, but nice to see it coming back. We'll adjust our stop. I don't know if it comes back down that low again. Let's wait in the low 30s now, see if we pick up some Tilray. That was a mistake, man. My bid is right here at 17.16. I don't know why. Ahead of 15, I mean, that is why. But now we miss it. All the upside, nice little move back for Tilray, and a nice tank here for BlackBerry. And we did get more in to Zoom. We talked about that. I like this 320 level, man. If we break it, then we're going to be gone. But we're taking one more fill in this 324 area for Zoom, and then we'll hopefully let this one ride.
You just remind me of Zoom. If that comes down into those teams, I definitely like those. But TKT, we're going to get to this back to this one and crash through that 21 area. Found a bottom at 19.20. That previous support, we thought there could be a chance, and if it turned there at the open, I wanted it. That turns into resistance for me. That's that $20.60 to $21 area. So we're about to jump to Miss V, and I'm going to jump into potentially a short in TKAT. Valeria?
Hey Neil, some traders in the chat talk about Fubo. Stock is up more than 7%, guys.
Sorry, we're gonna get to Fubo in just a quick second. I did just get into TKT, as I mentioned, of course. Look, this is a very, very low, I mean, look, you guys know what the float is. You guys know what liquidity can be like on this particular name. It is prone to halts. If this makes too big of a push here, I do have to get out of this one if it breaks that 21. Hunt for a better price. Fubo is, I mean, it actually wasn't on my radar at all, if it'll load. Come on, chart, there you go. Just popping up right now. Now, this is a name which had already made a couple of breakouts, so you get the 50 period, blah, 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 breakout through 23, yada, 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 but it's already testing towards a couple of sessions, well, last week, I should say, highs at 26.50. So after missing that move, I just feel like there could be some selling coming into it 50 cents from now, which makes it a little bit less interesting, at least in the short term for me. But Fubo on the move to the upside. If there's news to get it to push through, then Brennan's the one that'll give it to you. Brendo?
Yeah, they actually increased their full year guidance aftermarket yesterday, so that's heads up on Fubo. Here's Dolphin as well, another NFT name just popping up on volume. Volume is actually very low on this today, but TKAT trying to lead this group back to the upside, guys.
Brennan's a machine. I just heard Brennan in my ear, and I'm like, he has the news for sure on Fubo. So that actually could give it those legs to maybe push through those levels, guys. TKT could be the first losing trade of the day. I mean, obviously, it's been good so far, but I just got into that short in that target range of 2060. It immediately held 21 even. Now, you look back up here and you say, give it to like 21.20. Nope, and the reason I don't is because look at these candles, guys. There is a 20 to 30 cent spread. So I'd rather get out early and hang on to winning trades. I'll go ahead and take the quick hit on TKT. I did like the long originally, but it broke through that level like a knife through butter, guys. And speaking of a knife through butter, BlackBerry continues to make trades to the south side, so I'll maintain it's a short, it's a short, it's always a short on every single pop. The 1330 was love we liked the best. We got in when it popped off of the open at 930 into 1330. That was the play we wanted. It has to break this low of the day here at 1250, and then there we go. And also XPEV breaking through 35, so just got the long break on the XPEV.
Guys, your favorite thing is here.
Money, 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 money.
I mean,
money,
what a day
money,
this has been again for us, guys. Neo, obviously we wanted to go up a little bit more than this, but hey, we'll take it. A nice little win there for Neo. And then BlackBerry, you know where we're at, man. This has been a short all day long, and we still have shit. Like, this is the thing. You know, I'm taking big shares, guys. We're able to get out here when we need to, and I'm getting rebates every time we're getting out. So we're adding liquidity. It's not costing me anything. We're actually making money. We are now at our goal for the day, but one times. We'll see if we can get a little bit higher than that, obviously, as we go. So Tilray does come all the way back up, man. And then we get out. So some more outs there on Tilray. That's going to be a positive stock. And BlackBerry, my biggest stock of the day so far, easily is BlackBerry. So let's just keep on believing in that one, guys. What up, Beep?
Not seeing anything on Churchill here, guys, but CCIV just popping up through yesterday's high. This thing had a big move yesterday, along with the rest of the EV names. Volume there, 2241 for CCIV.
Yeah, and speaking of those guys, I'm going to come back over to XPeng, which already gave you that dip buy. Now you're looking for that potential breakout. Look, immediately it goes up like 4 or 5 cents, and then you're getting that sort of like test of this price area. You're looking back to about 34.75 to see if it can sustain this move, but just keep in mind in perspective, XPeng on the daily chart is in the sort of breakout mode until you get to like 39. So, you know, this could be one of those trades where it's not the first crack that is a good one. If it fails here, I would still go right back to this level in the afternoon for a potential play. So file that one away. VTNR, you don't want a daily chart for this one. It just bounced back. And I got, look, obviously I got this out here at 775. It tested right back. I didn't get a chance to get into this one because we're trading BlackBerry to the short side at 930. That was the one that I wanted the short to pop in. Now this looks like it's just going to be a fade play for the rest of the day if it can hold that 8 level. So I'll get more in front of 8 and 8 alone. And then from there, we'll see if we can't ride the train on VTNR. Day 2 to that downside, guys. And then AMC, which I know you guys, at least a lot of you are looking at. I mean, relatively stable. The manner in which it's able to hold this level is pretty solid. This 38 level is what I'm talking about. That was pre-market support. You do now have to watch out for 1, 2, 3 tests at 39.50, and then of course that 40 even break, which is looming. If that happens, I'll probably take out that BlackBerry trade and look to short it on any kind of a pop.
Guys, thanks for the love here again on the chat and on Twitter and everything. Like, there's Neo right there. We talked about that. with the market taking out 42.50. It does that, and it goes right to 42.60. But you did have to play the dips, and that's why you're going to join us every single day at 8:30, right, where we talk about our strategies. And I told you guys about yesterday buying the dips, today buying the dips. We always talk about buying these dips in NIO, and it's just been working out like gangbusters for us, man. This is a 78-cent winner we have on right now, and we just took it out again. So we'll go hot dog time again. Like what we're doing right now is working it out and making that cash for you. So 55 cents in the money with BlackBerry right now. NEO, 80 cents now in the money on NIO. Tilray made money. We're trying to make some more. Trying to come back inside. And then come on, Zoom, you can do it. Our average price on Zoom is right here, $329.28 on Zoom right now. So let's see if that can get going. Bang! We're monstrous here today, guys. Slaying dragons, left, right, and center. Let's go. Thank you for watching. We love you more than you love us.
There you go, guys. And as you say it, Sean, I mean, the second you hit the bang, by the way, I got to fill. It's like the banging the table got XPeng to make that move. It goes to the quarters. You guys know on even breaks, we target those quarters like the devil. So we got a bit of a bounce, obviously, on the morning off the low. These are two separate trades. We like the dip buy, and we like the 35 break on XPeng here. The 35 break has already given us some profit. 35.50 does loom. And I was just finished talking about, sort of on the multi-day, getting to that 39 area could be a good one. AMC just broke 39.50. So you do look over to BlackBerry. I still have my 40.
What, 39.50?
Yeah, AMC just broke 39.50. My 40 break is still in play. But I said if that happened, I want to be covering BlackBerry. But look, BlackBerry's still nowhere towards those lows. Clearly, guys, relative weakness in BlackBerry remains. Brendo?
Little one, guys, just popping up once again. IMVT. This is a biotech. Just got absolutely slaughtered yesterday. This is $15 yesterday, $9.50 it ends the day at. We're popping back through 10 though. Their chief medical officer resigned yesterday. That was this move down, but trying to get back to the upside for IMVT.
Like this is
and
why
there goes AMC, guys.
Yeah, let's go.
40.06. I just got the quarters out, and BlackBerry is still 30. Man, BlackBerry's still below 13. So relative weakness abound. Long one, short the other, and it still works.
This is why I was like, what's going on here? I mean, we're just monstrous today. So let's go AMC, I guess. But remember I had that 30, that's why I was like, oh my God, it's at 39.50. We should have been long 39.50, but I remember my pre-market order triggered there and I didn't reset it. So we do take that 40 long and we get out. And now we're just rocking and rolling. We're gonna hold a little bit. We still are long some AMC here, about half of what we had. So let's wait to see if this one wants to continue through. But good trades, man. And by the way, we're doing it again, guys. Zoom right now on the nice little move backside here. Let's see how far this can go. Let's go AMC as well, guys. Big time day here. We could have been even huger, is that a word? If we did have that 39.50 break, but this stupid dumbass trigger right there cost me, but it's my fault I didn't put the order back in.
Yeah, and we always want to go back to levels that we like, so I'm going to go back to that VTNR. It goes back to this 8 even area. If it tests 820, I want to get a better price than when we got the first time. I'm with you. I mean, I'm holding on to some of my shares of AMC. I'm going to scalp some out on every single breakout trade. But some levels in the pre-market, there was some selling in front of 42. 42 is also my lucky number, but that has nothing to do with it, guys. If it gets towards that 41 mark, I'll likely take more shares out. Look for a 41 break. 42, I think maybe could have a little bit of a turn if there even is one. Today, or another one, I should say, in AMC. Brenda, what's up?
We talked about Skills, guys. The market liking this acquisition by Skills, now 11.5%, 19 incoming here for Skills.
About being negative on AMC, we turn that around and punch it in the face. See ya, AMC, straight to the upside, man. We took a big trade there at 40. We told you guys we'd take the big trades at certain levels, and there it is at 40, AMC, a monster trade there. So now let's see. Now it goes to 41. Damn it, why don't we have more on board? Oh, yeah, because we scalped it out, and we don't have that 39.50 break. So there it is, guys. We've given it to you. Now we're at 1.5 times daily. So if we could take a smooth little trade off here, where am I offering? Into the 20s now on AMC. Let's see, how high did this thing want to fly? We'll take it out now if we can, off of a banger of a winner right there on AMC. So we'll go bang, bang, bang all over the place. Big wins happening, guys. Welcome to the pit.
This
that
is,
a name?
oh, you name the pit. I still like that 42. I'm probably going to take some out of AMC at that 42 range, almost all of it out of AMC. But the other end of that train, look what's happening in BlackBerry. It's still rounding off. It's still below VWAP. So, if I'm getting out of most of my AMC, which I have done here, and looking for a reload in BlackBerry, I mean, it's going to be right here, right now, off of VWAP. I thought on any pop here, we'd get to like 13 or even that 1330 level. But AMC, which is maybe now going back below 41, if that's the case, I think BlackBerry is likely to test at least that 1250 range, which should be a good one for a reload here. Like the same time I did before, that 13, we'll use that as a first stop. You got to be careful shorting the meme stocks. I think you can always hang on once it goes in the money for you, but a tight stop to begin with and hunt for a better level. Not the end of the world, guys. And then, of course, we still have some of that XPEV. We took that scalp out when it took out that 35-20 area. It's now coming right back into 35 even. I prefer, and I mentioned this right when we got the breakout trade, I prefer the dip into that 75.80. It happens to be VWAP now, but we'll be a little bit more patient with reloading on the XPeng long. We're sitting in the money in all of our trades. We took off the TKAT when it didn't work out for us. Now it's all about being patient, let the winners ride, and be careful and picky about where you get those reloads, because if the trend's with you, a lot of ways to make it a good trade. You just don't want to get in too early on any kind of a pullback.
All right, we're gonna go 331.50 or so. That, this is be a nice win. If we just get Zoom to bump up another $1 here, then we are laughing right now, all the way to the bank today, guys. No negative stocks. 0 negative stocks today again. So let's just hope that we can hold that through and just keep hitting the strikes for you guys. Monster trades here. Tilray, not a monster. This is the one that we've missed. I missed again. I was low 30s there. We missed that again. But look at NEO, guys. 78 cents in the money. Zoom. Bang! Zoom. $3 in the money now on Zoom, guys. You want Brendan. You got Brendan. What up, Brendan?
U.S. Wells Services, one we talked a little bit about last week. Another one coming out after market yesterday, updating their current quarter guidance. So if you like the little ones, up 11% here. This thing's been on a bit of a tear of late, guys. USWS.
And on a tear continues now through high of the day is going to be XPEV, so we'll continue to power it up on that one. I mean, you're not really going to find anything that's too much of a concern, but I did say, and I just got more shares of BlackBerry to the short side because EMC sort of turning around. I thought it would get to 42. It stalls out here, and it looks like 41.36 is as far as it went. But we're still at 40.50. We haven't bounced back off that 40 even area. Remember, there was this range, 38 to 39.50. Now, obviously, the top end of that range, 39.50 to 40, would be a nice little place for a dip buy if you like it. These outsized pullbacks have usually stalled out shy of 10%. So this one holds at 39.50. That's where I want to buy the dip as it happens. Here comes 39.50 as we speak.
And guys, we'll drop a little wink down there. Ding. Look at this out on AMC, guys. 41.30. Okay, right there. That's the out. That's the top of that move. We hit it for you right in front of you. So there it is right there. Saving yourselves right now $1.30 on the downside right there. So there it is. AMC, nice out. Good time to reload if you like that 40 long. But right there, we're happy to have that, man. Save everybody right there. That $1.50 if you're able to get out. And it double topped, like it triple topped a bunch of times. So that was a good opportunity. Maybe even, I'm not going to say it, but maybe a short opportunity. Zoom, we did take that out, man. Good trade there. That was $3 in the money. I don't know why this thing has turned around. The NASDAQ has turned around a little bit there. So Zoom all the way up. That puts that position. That was $3 in the money. We've already pocketed a smooth move on Zoom. So now we'll wait to see. I don't want to fight this market here, but again, we'll try. NEO all the way back in. So that was a good out there on XPEV at the top, 42.60. We're holding a very, very small spot, but I just noticed that it broke VWAP there. So maybe we'll just put the 30 cents in our pocket and move on right now with NEO and just regroup on that stock. Nice move back on AMC. Wow. Great buy there again at 40. Even at 39.50 that we indicated was another good buy. So yeah, hell yes for everybody trading AMC today. And I hope you're having as much luck as we are. No LFT, baby. Nothing from the top right now. Everything we've made is still in our pocket. Let's see if we can keep it there. AMC right back to these highs.
Yeah, I mean, you got to knock on some fake wood every time that happens. And of course, like AMC never really got to that. I mean, we talked about 3950. It bounced off 3960. You saw me try to bid in there and try and get more shares, but it happens fast. We're going to end up missing the trade. XPeng is pulling back. Now I'm waiting for that 3475 area for a bit of a bounce. I still like 42s to take some more shares out of AMC. And of course, if AMC is popping, BlackBerry can be retesting that 13, well, VWAP anyways, before it even gets to 13, and finding some trouble getting through. So the strength is just simply not there in that particular name. I want to go back to TKAT because this is what will happen to you. I rolled out of this one. It breaks that top, holds the next level upside, 21.25. That also corresponds with the aftermarket low, and then it's going to come down. So sometimes direction can be good. I got a negative stock. It's going to be TKAT. Direction can be good in the trade, but if it breaks through stop, it breaks through stop. I'm going to show you right there that it did make that hold and make that turn eventually. We said there'd be probably nothing to see in Tesla. And then it does make it a bit of a dip down. Now, I was waiting, and I told you guys, look, if it gets to 580, of course. If it gets to 600, that's a level worth watching as well. Tesla actually makes a bit of a move down, about $5 to $7 from the open. That's almost $10 if you go to the actual top of this move here. So Tesla on the move. If it gets to 600, then there's an actionable trade. Not there yet, though.
Yeah, you got to wait for some key levels. That's why we're just chilling out. Ooh, my hydro bill came in. Ooh, $93, not bad. That's not bad for hydro, okay. Oh wait, let's go. Tilray, okay, so Tilray's coming down to these levels. We got out there basically for flat. We're long 51 break. We got some out at 48. Just didn't want to hold this through 50, but we still are waiting for these bottoms. And I said I would change my bottom. It's at 16 right now, so let's put one a little bit lower than that, or sorry, a little bit higher than that on Tilray. We'll go in the NASDAQ here. Put one in, maybe right about now, guys, is not a bad spot. Thank you so much, Carla. I see the super chat there. Woohoo, beautiful. Ooh, beautiful day in Texas. I like that too. We are, oops, I'm trying to call this chat up if I can, Carla. Thank you so much. You've super chatted us before as well. What was this one? Good luck trading today. I was large trades at MD. Oh yeah, you've talked about this before, Nick. MDRR. We'll look at it for you because you super chat, but I know what you're doing. Carla Greathouse there as well. Beautiful. AMC Zoom. This is for you, Carla.
Money.
Thank you for taking the trades that we took, man. And you know, it really means a lot to us that we do have traders following, and especially when you're taking the trades that I'm calling out. So thank you so much, Carla. I hope everything works out for you. But right now in Toronto, it's 19 degrees Celsius, which isn't bad.
It's going to be muggy today.
Low, you know, high 60s. We'll take it.
It's going to be muggy today in Toronto, but going to go AMC about to break that high. Just want to point out that 4130 attempted again to break that top. BlackBerry, as that was happening, made another press to the downside. You know, that 1250 area. I mean, I got it again at 1260. That's where we got out and the last time we had this little bit of a short. And I still want to play this in front of 13. BlackBerry short is still looking pretty good. And 10 o'clock is here. Wow, been a fast one, been a great one. Now you're going to Brendan. Let's see what's happening now.
30 minutes in the books. Let's have a look at how things are looking so far. We have the Dow about 0.25% to the upside, the NASDAQ 100.2%, the S&P 0.2% as well. But here's the composite NASDAQ, basically dead flat on the day, 0.07 for the bigger ones. NASDAQ 100, as I mentioned, 0.16. The Russell small caps having a negative day so far, 0.2% to the downside. Couple of things we were talking about here in the pre-market. Yeah, Tesla straight southbound. They did test these areas from the afternoon yesterday, 623, 624, but day lows as we speak. Relative volume is high on Tesla today, guys. So 1.6 to the downside for Tesla so far. Some of the energy names here, Oxy, I just brought it up. They all look very similar. We had the selling initially down to 28, but they're all right back into pre-market areas, guys.
So the 40 break looks pretty good. It was even a good retest off that 39.50, but I said 42 is what I liked. So I'm going to be out of AMC for now. I mean, obviously there's going to be more trades here, but in and out in a successful one. Just looked over at BlackBerry. It's still holding 1260. So the rollover there does continue. I'm going to come back over to that MITO. This one's going to be, like I said, this is going to be the easy one here. It just touched down towards the bottom again, but as that happens, I do have to take more shares out off this low. It popped into $2, and of course, there were faster and better fish to fry at that particular time, so didn't catch the reload. AMC about to go through. Well, I shouldn't say, you know, about to test, and it didn't go through 42 here. That level does still loom. If it pulls back, we like that 40 one more time. Probably not going to give you a 39.50, so might have to step in front of it a little bit here, or just take a 42 break. Now, it got to 40 almost 45 in the pre-market. It goes a little bit earlier than when our charts came online here. I think it was 44.75. So that's the top to target, I think 45 even. 42 break. One of these is likely to give you a sharp reversal. At some point, breakouts become a trap. I'll be in and out of a 42 break very, very fast, I think.
So Zoom's coming down. We already took some profits there. We're going to hold a little bit more. Yeah, AMC, wow, great hold there as it continues to rip up there. AMC, wow. Congrats to everybody. Again, we keep saying that, but I mean, hey, man, it's real. The love is real there. Look at Zoom, guys. We can't... Like, it's amazing that AMC still, we already talked about AMC not, forcing itself on the market, obviously. But look at this, man. Nice little move to the downside. Hopefully we can pick up some Zoom now. I might even do it. Where's my bid again? 324.50. So it's probably good enough right now to get some more long into this spot. I don't want to miss it, so we'll put another bid out there. See if we do get picked up. There we go. We'll forget about the, I just canceled something else instead there. Okay, but now we do have Zoom. We did take that again right now because I'm not going to wait for that 34.50. Although maybe 324.50. Maybe that would come in, but let's just take it now in case this is the bottom 325. I don't think so. We are looking at 320 though as our out. So hey, we'll celebrate Zoom on the wins and then we'll inform you on the losses. So right now, man, we're long at 326.60. Let's see if that can hold. We're only down $1, but still, we're hoping that Zoom can get back to its winning ways. At least a VWAP, guys, 330 on Zoom. But Tilray and Best Buy, BlackBerry, the two stocks that we have on board. We did get some more Tilray down here in the 20s. Like we said, we're still waiting for 16, which it went all the way down to, and we didn't get again. So I got to change the gateway that I'm on. Here goes Tilray back to the upside.
I'm telling you, it's deep down. You keep calling it Best Buy because you love BlackBerry. No, I'm kidding, obviously there. But BlackBerry is holding that low of the day, that 1250, guys. So if it bounces up from here, you still like that 13. BCTX had multiple halts and now is looking like it has a little bit of weakness here. If it holds this price area like this 7 even, I think you can look for a bit of a breakdown trade off of VWAP. Otherwise, you're looking for a test of 8. There was a hard rejection at that level before. If it does come back down, I'm going to take some potentially to the short side off that 8. If it breaks through, I mean, obviously I don't want to get in front of the train. I want it on a reverse at that level. Brendan, again, what's up, buddy?
Soleno Therapeutics, another one having quite the day here. 53% straight to the upside, just made another day high through 155. They got orphan drug status for a diazoxide chlorine treatment, whatever that is. FDA giving them orphan drug status on that, guys. So SLNO off to the races here on big volume.
I think you did pretty good pronouncing. See, everyone would have believed you until that end part. It was like dioxin, and then it went. But that was a good one. Brendan, not only bringing us the news, but trying to pronounce things that I don't think are humanly possible to pronounce. So good news on that one. Your AMC, though, man, still rocking, Neil. I don't know if you still have it, but that was a good up.
I'm out, man.
Yeah, that was a good upside there at 42 there. A couple breaks. We saw yesterday in the pre-market, like we talked about, 42 there. So that was a good spot.
That BCTX, it's like I talk about it and then it halts to the upside. So, obviously it's not going to make the push to 8. It got to 768 and then it halted. Off the reopen, I guess that same play is going to come in here. If we fail off of 8 even, that kind of gives you a short around this halt price at 768. If that happens, fair enough. I want to come back over to XPEV. So I talked about the dip buy off of, I get it right? Oh, it's not on the NASDAQ. Of course, I actually got it wrong. Every now and then it happens to you guys. XPEV, this one's been the beast for me. We got the dip buy, we got the 35 break. I then said when it stalled out here around the 35.25, let's look back for 34.75. Got back long at 79s. Scalps them out in front of 35. Gets them out in front of the high of the day. Now we're looking to see if we can't hold till, not oblivion, because that's ridiculous. But obviously if we can hold VWAP at this point, I kind of want to ride this one to see if it has a secondary break in it. That's a lot to chew through. BlackBerry, there we go. BlackBerry just bounced off that 1250, which we've been talking about. If it gets back up towards this 13 even, VWAP is now at 1290, guys, because obviously it's been trending to the downside. We're back below 41 on AMC, so the reload on every pop still remains in play with BlackBerry, but I just want it in these 80s to 90s if I can catch and move into that price. The volume's good enough that you kind of can expect to get an extra push. If it gets into this range, it's likely to get a couple of extra ticks, so save yourself 5 or 6 cents by being picky with your prices, as this has been a wild and crazy morning. But like I said, if you have an entry area, stick to it. You don't have to force things too far. Of course, you could miss a few dip buys. I did miss at least a couple this morning, but everything else is made up for it.
Let's see, 42.15. I mean, I'm just getting set up here. on NEO. Maybe we have a possible break again on this stock. Let me go over to it for you. This 42 right here, 42.15. Not a bad spot. I know we're going to be running into VWAP, but we just did bounce down. My bid's still at 41.60. We never got that. So we'll have to wait for NEO here. But I don't mind a 42, especially if this market wants to try to go. We'll give this one more shot to get going. I know Neil's looking at XPEV, Liato. There's a couple different names there. But NEO, I don't know, man. Maybe we're just jumping around a little bit too much. Normally it'd be this 11 area, but I'm going to just up it a little bit here to 42, 15 or 16 here on a NEO break. We already got out on that 42 break to the downside off of a 41.85 long. So it's been a good day for us on NEO. I mean, we're up, and it's a pretty good stock for me today. So we'll wait, but I want to wait for 42.15 to break on NIO. If that comes, then hey, man, we'll be long on that name. You know, we haven't looked at today, Palantir. Hey, Palantir, what's going on? Okay, 22.85. Yeah, the reason why this wasn't even on my list today or anything, these aren't really crazy levels for me. We either take this out, which I guess we got close to, 23.35, but you know, monster move yesterday in Palantir. We saw that. Was waiting for something similar to happen, like these dips that happen all the time on Palantir, but apparently doesn't want to happen today. So we're going to wait for that one. But if it comes back down, we do like Palantir long into 22.50, but we're a ways away from that right now.
Oh my goodness, I absolutely bungled the dip buy in AMC here. Immediately, I got long, it dipped into 40 even, and I accidentally take out half the shares. I went to throw a stop in, which every now and then you hit the wrong key. Things are going a little bit fast there, and I'll show you guys in a second, but I am trading on the side some of these buyouts here. But obviously, it's a pretty solid dip buy. I'm going to go ahead and scalp the rest of this out because if you can see these wicks, yes, it's getting to 41.30, and Sean already referenced that price once, but the bulk of the volume has been drying up at 41 even. So I'll go ahead and take that quick little 70-cent move. If that's going up, by that, I mean if AMC is going up, you know BlackBerry is likely to be doing exactly this. I just got more shares in those 80s. That's when it was at 75. I said wait till the 80s. You can probably get them. I just did. If we make a move to the high, I want to be out on any break of BlackBerry. Like I'll take a 10-cent hit in BlackBerry, and I have no problem doing that because I'll hunt for a better price short. The momentum could be gone if we take the top off an AMC and we break VWAP here in BlackBerry, and then we're looking for the top. It did this before, so you have to be a little bit patient if it does make that move. No, it's not. It obviously hasn't broken yet. You know, we're still holding VWAP. We just tried to crack it now, but I'm going to want to be planning. You know, hope for the best, plan for the worst. I like having a bit of an out there and a plan of action in case it goes wrong, because if it goes right, it's pretty easy to make that coin. The pullback is coming here again in XPeng. It was XPEV, I should say. It is XPeng. I just say XPEV because it's a stock name. It's coming right back in. A lot of times, the second time through in a pullback, it might not even get to VWAP. So if you didn't buy that dip, it might be a better place to get like 34.85 or so. I already have it, guys, and I want to see if we can hold that 34.75 before I get any more shares. That 35 break was only okay. It is both dip buys that have been much, much better here with XPEV, guys. So I'm going to stick with that plan. I want to be net long as we're holding VWAP and hopefully into the afternoon if we actually get a bigger move here. It's only 1%. But the breakout has been on the EV names, and you wanted some exposure in case you get that outsized sort of secondary push, which you know could be coming on the way to like 38 to 40 in XPeng in particular. I mean, NEO's no different. It's just different prices.
AMC 40. I wonder if that move is done now on AMC. We'll have to wait to see. Fisker, a nice move. Beyond Meat, a nice move today. Tilray, yeah, okay, we got you, Tilray. We're still seeing that one. A nice little rebound here for us on Tilray. We didn't get, what just happened there? NEO breaks. Okay, so right now, NEO upside here. We'll scalp away a little bit if we can, and we'll wait. Now, it just breaks higher, man. That's strange to me because the NASDAQ says no to that break. So that's making me a little nervous here on NIO as, okay, we'll go upside anyways. Okay, there's an out 21. NEO upside right now. We took that 15 break there. Not super confident because of the NASDAQ, but okay, if you're going to give it to us, man, we'll take it. NEO right now for a nice little win, but it's only 6 cents. We need more. What up, Bren?
I just saw Etsy was all the way back here, guys. We had a nice move off the open on Etsy up to 169, but all the way back down, still up 1%, though. They picked up this online fashion reseller, Depop, for $1.6 billion. That seemed high to me, but yeah, they're selling it off a little bit after 169 was tested.
Trying to court those Gen Z, I mean, this was the article, Gen Z there. So it's like, you know, people like to buy recycled clothing because it's hot and whatever the trends might be. I think it's a good play for Etsy, which is probably a good stock anyways. Well, it's crazy because we'll show you guys here when VTNR was making this pop. I threw an offer in, and I like that 820 area. I threw an offer in here at 815, actually at 816. I probably should have been more aggressive, and then it could have got something when it broke that 8 even. It just retested the low of the day. I bumped an order up in front of the low of the day to get out some at 770. From here, I'm probably just going to hold. I think at this point, forget about Pops breaking VWAP. It's probably going to be in the 790 range is all we're going to get. So it's a day 2 type of play. If it comes back up, I want to get more short. Just to come back up to that, first of all, that we got another halt in that BTCX. I mean, that stock is absolutely nuts. TKAT continues to trend to the downside, even though it's held that low for now. If it ever gets back above 21, I think maybe it's more of a bull case there. 21.25 is where it closed. 21.25 is right at that top of that move, and that's on me. So I wanted to come to it. I told you why I had to stop at 21. And then, looking at your previous close, 21.25, that's where the breakdown was. That's poor stop placement. What I should have been doing is waiting for the middle of that 20.60 to 21 range, get in the middle of the range, be more patient, get 85 short, and move your stop to at least giving it back to that 21.25, which was previous close, and a breakdown right off at the open. So that's something I can learn from. It's my losing stock of the day, and for sure, directionally right, stop placement garbage. Speaking of, this is not a good segue. BlackBerry is it's not garbage. I mean, it's a going concern. They're pivoting, blah, 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 into software, which has actually been pretty solid for them as well. But like I said, it's going to be continuously shorting off of VWAP. The only thing that kind of gives me a bit of pause is we haven't been able to sort of break ground on fresh lows. So I keep getting out some shares when it gets to this 60 to 65 range, which I'll do again, and then try to hold a net short position. AMC, to its credit, has just bounced off VWAP. Now, it was 40 bounces before. There's that 39, 25, or VWAP 39, whatever you want to call it. If it breaks below VWAP, I might just take BlackBerry wherever it is as first consolidation if AMC makes that kind of a reverse. But it's still trending to the upside so long as it holds this 39 area, which was, of course, a level to a resistance level in the pre-market, now turning into support on AMC. Brendan?
Another one that has given us some pretty epic short squeezes in the past. This is U1 just popping up here once again through $11 on volume, guys. So 33% again today. Remember going back a week or so ago, we had this big move from 6 to 10.5. So U1, not seeing any headlines in the broadcasting space. We'll keep an eye out though for this one.
Okay, yeah, U1. Yeah, we've looked at that before. I mean, that's a good name there for sure. A little bit nervous here, not overly, but a little bit about this Neo trade. So we did take some out. We know where this thing can go, guys. So we don't want to be. We did take some out on a little bit of a 42 break there. So 42.15. I'm going to wait. I mean, this either not moons, but either gets us out for a nice little profit or whoopsies. Putting orders on the wrong stocks here. Or we wait for our 41.60 to come to the downside. So a little bit of trouble on Neo, but not much. But we are in more trouble on Zoom. Zoom did go all the way up, man. I think this probably looks to fail at this 325. So let's wait to see here as it's going. I mean, it's really struggling at this low spot here. It tried to go. I thought this move down would have solved it, and then it came right back up, but it didn't really go up at all. So we're going to wait on Zoom, but we're still pretty big today, man. No losing stocks yet. So waiting on that. Hopefully, knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But for right now, we're excited. Nothing really crypto's happening. Fubo's moving around. Neo's trying to go, and AMC now sub 40, guys.
And back open, and you're going to see me pop into this BCTX. It finally makes an open off of a halt and then immediately tests and fails at $9, right back below the halt price. You know the setup that I like. I'm going to go short, and when it makes that bit of a push, we got 43 short when it retook that halt price right at about 860. Look, I'm not going to look up a gift horse in the mouth there, and it takes them off in front of 8. Now, see, I'm improving these things. I actually waited till I got the fill to take some profit, and then I hit the key. I'm stammering away here. Now, if we get down towards 765, this was that halt to the upside here. Forget about VWAP when it's this strong or this illiquid. Forget about VWAP, but if it goes down that 765, and I can be in and out of this pretty quick there, taking like a 70-cent win, I'll be perfectly happy with that. So I'm going to throw a bit out, see if you do get that bit of a range. So one of the things that'll happen with these stocks that are halting over and over again is you can just wait for that perfect idea of an entry after that reopen. It didn't happen here. It opened higher before reversing. The next time it opened, then never even tested that price. Then you finally get one where it opens, fails at an obvious price, gets right back below, so we're able to take an actionable trade there. Even if it breaks this now a halt price at 860, it can't turn into a losing trade unless I miss my stop. So it's all on me not to miss that stop. And that'll be, I'll go with 860 just because I want to round up a little bit here, guys. But this BCTX, absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. And if it breaks 9 even, I would not be shocked to see it hold again. So if you don't want to get caught in halts, feel free to step away from this. I'm sort of picking my spots very, very carefully. Another one which I have not really talked about in a couple of minutes here, XPEV just broke again that high of the day. I was looking to buy the dip, of course, again, I should say, for a third time. It obviously has not happened. We're now in the money, about 80 cents. We're first long at 34.27. Then we got the long off the 35 break. Then we took the dip buy into 34.79 in front of that 75. And here you go off to the races once again. I actually thought there was a chance this could consolidate and break for lunchtime. 10:17, and XPEV decides it wants to make its move right here, right now. And you guys are moving to the big screen with Brendan for the small cap recap.
Hey guys, yeah, busy morning. Let's jump right into a few names we were talking about. Here's TKAT, Takung Art. Showed its hand right off the open this morning. Heavy selling came in right off the bat on the volume side through 21. This little support area at the end of the day yesterday was 21. So didn't catch that initial move, but any kind of bounce worth a shot. To the downside, to this point anyways, for TKAT, volume is kind of drying up on that one though. MITO, the other one, another one that just let go of any kind of bid that was supporting it right at the open. Not a huge move, $2, 205 down to about 180. Yeah, that BCTX, just a crazy mover, very, very thin. Tread lightly on that. Was initially very choppy before, as we were talking about, did make that move to the upside. Guys, back over to you.
All right. Zoom still waiting for that one. BlackBerry, nicely done now. Or sorry, Tilray, nicely done now. You know, we took that long and now it just goes right back to the high side. So right now, Weed Batman is back in the building, at least temporarily, to the upside right now as it just continues to go. Let's get out some 47s. There it is. So nice win, guys. In here, out, 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 out. In again down here into the low 20s. Now we're at the 40s. So 1750. We're trading less names, but more money and more profits right now. So that's my new idea, guys. Find the best names, trade them. Make sure y'all. Someone's from Texas. Carly, you're from Texas. So make sure that y'all, I don't know. Look at the sticky note, guys. There's some names on there. The one name that we didn't really look at, though, MindMed, NMND, over here on the NASDAQ. So it failed again today. Like, you know, it comes with all this news, all this hype, things like that. You saw MindMed yesterday as well, do basically nothing all day. So just blah, 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 blah. And then today it's doing the same thing. So we had a 340, and I guess now I got to go over there and cancel that. We were thinking that this had a chance to go upside today, and it just never really did, man. MindMed just still stuck. I don't know what the news has to be. We saw California passing some different legislation, quietly yesterday. So we'll see about MindMed. If it goes, fantastic, but right now not. NEO comes all the way back in, guys. That's his one-day range. NEO comes all the way back in and gives us all these winners again off of our 42.15 long, and we don't even take them. So I'm going to put some bids down here in the 80s, but I mean, how many times is a charm here? I think it's a lot. So we're going to have to be very, very careful here coming to the downside on NEO, 41.80. How many times is it going to hold down here? We'll see if it does one more time, but that's my call. And I may just, like, we're back to flat on Zoom right now. Like, I don't know, there's pretty good barcoding action happening here on ZM. So we already have it. This is our price, 326. So we were back into the money there temporarily, and then now it's just back down again. So Zoom, not really zooming one way or the other, kind of just doing nothing here so far today. Flat on the day. We were expecting some kind of a movement off Zoom. We got it early. We took some nice profit. Now we're back into this game. So we'll see on Zoom. But for right now, it's kind of like wait and see on this name. I may get some out, but I don't really want to take it out for a loser. We'll wait to see here if it goes up, man. Maybe this is enough, 328. Let's hope Zoom and the market can go.
Yeah, I hope it does go. I just got out of XPeng as it just made a bit of a turn here off of 35.6. I mean, threw a bit of a trailing stop when it got to that quarter and turned. If it does a dip, I like it in front of VOP. I actually have a bid out in front of that. Could be a moving target depending on how fast it moves down here towards 35 even. And I just thought this is a good one. VA Beach sucks. Wake up, Robbie, because we just got a request for an animation of an ape with diamond hands riding on a rocket. An ape with diamond hands riding on a rocket. So Robbie is fantastic at making these, and he's got a new task. So when he's not around in the afternoon show, which of course, I mean, as wild as this has been, Oh my goodness, the close is likely to be absolutely bonkers, guys. So that's what we're talking about. The diamond hands is a good one, but he has to step up his game here. I think we have a good one for the close, guys. Come back to some of these names. Just because things will slow down and we'll take a few less positions here and there, the price and the levels matter. We'll stick to usually just whatever happens to pop in the afternoon and then the names that worked in the morning. And yeah. An ape? I don't know where the ape came from. Maybe I missed something this morning. I don't know where the diamond hands come from, guys. And speaking of AMC, again, no, these wicks didn't happen, guys. It's still bouncing and never got to this 39.50 again. Now making another move into 41. That was my last out in front of 41. 42 break. Still in play as we head to Brendan.
This Mudrick Capital, guys, making the flip of all time yesterday in AMC. Tops, remember MUDS, M-U-D-S, 9.5% today to the upside. So Tops reported their earnings, which they have to do when they're involved in this merger with the SPAC. So big numbers and big demand reported for Tops cards in stores, to a point where I was reading they had to actually pull them out of some stores because people were fighting over them. So MUDS, guys, making moves here.
Okay, we are now in to Ford. We talked about Ford breaking 15 earlier. It just breaks, and now it's a shame because I wasn't really looking at it when it made these moves to the downside. That was a nice little spot there to pick up Ford in the 75 area. Like, that's it doesn't get any better than that. Like 70s, guys, we could have had Ford. Damn it. Too much. This is why I'm saying, guys, like, I got to look at specific things here, not just like, you know, little share sizes on lots of names. Like, sometimes we do that, right? We get caught up. We trade every name that you guys give to us, right? But part of it is upping your share size on stocks that you actually believe in, right? Neil and I have been pounding the pavement on BlackBerry today and telling you, like, this is the one. Neil just keeps on shorting it, which has been
It's
great.
about to break VWAP. Oh, it kind of is breaking VWAP.
It's trying to do it right now.
If it breaks 90, it's funny. You said it. I actually just got out and accidentally long. Which I'll get out of, because if you make an accidental trade, you get out of it. So Sean talked about it. I just got out, and I'm hunting for that 1330 now. If it turns there, I like it still. I'm only shorting this stock. I mean, I guess
exactly.
I should have held that long.
Well, that's what I was saying. Yeah, you're, and that's the thing, right? Like, you got to find names. So, like, here we go. So I go over to Ford, it breaks through, and then now we're seeing, like, it just doesn't really have the momentum to carry on. So if I was watching this stock, maybe a little bit of a different story, but that's fine. I'm not talking down this position. I still like it. We just took some 94s there, but yeah, I mean, we may fall back into this 80. I mean, if we break 85s on Ford, then I probably have to drop this. I don't normally take hits, this many pennies on a stock like Ford, but whatever. Our average price now 99. So, like, I'm talking like it's a problem. It's at 97. Like, okay, high expectations, I guess. Let's just hopefully we can get back upside. We'll take out this 02 and then we'll laugh it all the way to the bank. But for right now, Ford back to VWAP is a little scary situation. So 1485. We'll take some more longs, 90s, but we're going to wait out. If it breaks through 85, man, then we're going to be gone. And this is a mistake for us on Ford. But whatever. It breaks 15. We liked it. And why did we like it? I mean, here's the 20 period. And, we have VWAP on here. We have some moving averages. That doesn't really matter. I was just looking at this 15 top. We got high in the pre-market a couple days ago. So we're looking at that, man, like 1520, I think we should be able to get to today. So let's hold out for a little bit, but we'll be scalping it if it does go back up. So long Ford until 1485. There's the position. Let's hope it works out for us.
So this is it's not a blast from the, I'm saying blast from the past as if C3AI has been around forever, but on the move, and it's been an interesting, now breaking out obviously, but it's been on the move for a few sessions now off that ridiculous low that it had. And a lot of stocks have put these bottoms in, like this 50 here. You're getting essentially a 50% return off the absolute bottom, and then you're getting a breakout right now, this 74 level. So this is a key one for C3AI, probably more important to hold it above this level. I think closing above that 74 is going to be a good sign. You see the dip down into that price at least one time here. Now 75, that's a bit of a fail break that's happened. It got to 75, 79. So that dip could put you right back into the territory of 74, which I just mentioned is going to be that key hold price. AMC is, and look, at this point, I got out of BlackBerry looking for another short at 1330. So I'll hold on to VTNR, which doesn't do anything, and that MITO. Those are both those small caps, and then the buyouts, and looking for the actionable trade. Didn't flip to AMC. There we go. 42 breaks still in play for AMC. So it's grinding towards that high. If it gets there, I still like the breakout. It still has yet to really test that 39. It got to 39.30. So that could still loom on any failure to get through 42. Brenda, what's up, bud?
There was rufflings, I guess, yesterday, or rumors floating around yesterday that the New York State attorney was looking into some dealings with this name, Kodak. There was a bit of selling that came in, I think it was around here in the middle of the day yesterday, but they came out immediately and said they're prepared to respond to this and will do so. So Kodak ripping here, guys, on volume as well as they come out with looks like some more response to this yesterday. I'm going to keep reading this, but Kodak on the move, 12.5% already.
The only question is, do we have shortable shares in Kodak? That's all I care about.
Yeah, if not, you can easily request them. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. Just looking at some movement here. Like, look at Tilray, guys, like cheering all the way to the bank right now as Tilray again making new day's high right now. We're in the money now, 40 cents. So we turn a little bullish here on the cannabis space, and why not, man? And we talked about this, and thank God I changed it. My bid is still at 16, but I missed it here, and then I somehow missed it there, but that's fine because we averaged in. We talked about switching up our game, taking some bids a little bit in a better position, and now we're ripping to the high side on TLRY, which is great for me because my Afria shares got switched over to Tilray, and I'm hella long this name right now, not really on purpose, but hey, we knew that switch was coming. So good little job there for Tilray. So thank you guys, Tilray. Hopefully that can keep going up, although I keep saying you got to get out every time we make new highs. You know, what about SoFi? SoFi, a new name, showed up on the radar today. Yeah, 3.5 million shares. It had its birthday yesterday with its name, and it was used to be IPOE, of course, and now SoFi, nice little move upside again, 23.50. So we like it. It's a good mover there, SoFi, for you guys.
And look, and I was saying it's not like a joke or anything, but I mean Kodak, just to be real for a second, that move did put it right into the territory on the daily chart of this 860 to 865 area. So when you get a turn at 850, the reason I was checking for the shortable shares, I had already looked at the price, guys. I'm not just literally saying I would short any price in the stock. So it was consolidating off of a level that I like. Now you can give it to this 850, which I'm going to do, maybe a couple of pennies above it, if only because when I look at that level on the daily chart, maybe even a break of 865 that holds 9 would be a better entry point because the volume is drying up a little bit. If it rolls over here, that's great because I'm already in. And then we'll look back down to like VWAP is an obvious place to maybe take some shares out. I do want to have some bids just so we can capture any profit on the way down here. This all does bring me back over to the one that, okay, so this sucks. And I gotta find this one for you. Where is it? How do I slap? I should be a little bit closer to slap myself in the face here. And this is there it is. We just talked about this, about getting into BlackBerry, and the reason I got out accidentally long that I should have held on to, the reason I got out on that break was to look for that 1330 turn. This would be 1325. What you don't see here are any purple arrows to the downside, which would indicate a short position, which obviously would have worked. So thank you, Kodak. It better be a good trade because I missed BlackBerry at 1330. And of course, if it bounces off VWAP, that could change the trajectory of shorting this again. You want it that first time through, which I clearly just missed. Brendan?
It is 10:30, guys. That means coming up in about 15 minutes, only 15 minutes. Yeah, great guest coming through today. Brett King, best-selling author. We're going to talk a little bit about futurists and get his take on some of the financial sector and some of the financial dealings in the financial sector of late over the past year or so. He has a brand new book coming out the end of this year, I believe, fall of this year, from Brett King, coming up in about 15 minutes. Stick around for that. In the meantime, let's get a check on European markets and head over to Miss V.
Hey Brennan, European markets are mostly positive. Danish luxury TV maker Bang & Olufsen is up around 10% after providing an upbeat full-year earnings forecast. Back to you.
Yeah, interesting moves all over the place so far today, guys, but overall market's pretty choppy in Europe as well.
Yes, sir. And look, I mean, I got fortunate with this one. I do think with Kodak starting to roll over, and all jokes aside, like, and the only reason I brought that to your attention or sort of slapped myself in the face was, remember, BlackBerry was, for the last couple of days in the meme trade, has been like that sort of go-to, you short every single kind of a pop. Now, this is a setup you've seen me every single time. I'm going to trade a setup like this, so it's nothing against the Kodak move, and maybe it follows through the VWAP, and that's great, but you also want to make sure that not just your best setups you're trading, but what's that alpha stock? Like, what's the thing moving today that's at the front of your list? And I would venture to say that BlackBerry and AMC would tend to be there, and something new like Kodak, which pops in, can be sometimes put to that back burner. So of course it's going to be fine here, and I want to come back to another name just to update you. We're making fresh lows, and I can't say 175 on MITO. Watch it bounce off 176 and not look to take not to take the rest of this out, guys. So MITO, this is that small cap that we thought was going to be the easier one for the day. Popped into it in the pre-market. It's never really threatened us. It went all the way back down to these quarters. You know what? Why am I sitting here? I'm just going to get out at 178. Just going to pay the spread. Get out of MITO. Case close on this one. It's been a good one.
Yeah, good one. Yeah, MITO. There's lots of good names. All on our watch list as well, guys. You want to sign up for that. It's absolutely free, and we've talked about how to do that exactly. Okay, the market at highs right now. So NEO comes right back up. Of course, the time we start to decide to bid in the 80s, it only retraces into the low to mid 90s. I guess mid 90s there. I'm still going to hold out strong. We just got some out there at 23s off of our long 15, and then out again when it breaks through, view up back. So we're going to hold the rest now. We're pretty light on it, but just to give you a little bit of an update, man, like our day would be absolutely huge if this stock actually wanted to do something, and it doesn't look like it wants to. How many times have we seen this top? Now we're going to break to the downside, so we may wind up losing, this trade on Zoom. Who knows where we're going to go from here? But like I said before, the market's pretty high right now, and Zoom is pretty low. So this is not a good trade. It's down 1%. We tried to make it happen on Zoom, and I think it did. We had a nice trade there. We could have got out of everything. We had a little bit of rose-colored glasses looking at that 335. I really thought if that broke, man, we got a lot higher. So to me, well worth the risk, but I don't know if it's going to pay off. We may take a piece out right here, 326.75 or something for flat, basically, if it comes back up for us. But right now, Zoom looks like it wants to crack this bottom. So, yeah, here it goes, 324, maybe breaking sooner than we'd hoped for on Zoom. But other than that, I mean, everything's going pretty well. Ford has fallen back down, so Ford does come right back up, right to 1502 again. So we went right back into the money on that trade because our average price, again, guys, was 99. So it went all the way up to 02 again, and we didn't take any out, and now we're paying the price as we have to take a lower bid right now. So now our average price is 97. That was a mistake there, not taking that out on Ford. I can't average in all the way, guys. We talked about a 1485 break. I just got to make sure that I have that order in. So 1485, we're going to try to hold this as close to our chest as we can here on Ford, but right now missed an opportunity. Should have got out of some there when it went back to flat. So obviously, as per every trade I make, that one's on me.
And that's the thing. We'll give you guys the real goods. I mean, Brendan gives it all the time, and so thank you, Brendan, for bringing Kodak to our attention. It's still up 10%, but the retracement is in. We talked about the daily chart there and showed you that level to the upside. I'll go ahead and obviously I have to adjust my stop to that upside. At this particular point, I wouldn't give it anything past that 850. I'm short here. My average price will be 841.5 technically because I got a couple of entries there. If it breaks VWAP, great. Then we can start thinking about this 785 to 8 cluster. Otherwise, I'll give this one all the way back to 850 even, which is the current high of the day, only because we have a good entry price. At that point, we can start thinking about if it makes the break and gets you a failure off of 9 even, which actually happened in that crazy BCTX stock as well. Just to come back over to AMC because it just got southbound of 40. So it is starting to break back into that downside. And I said if that broke VWAP, I might just like BlackBerry wherever it is. Probably in my face because BlackBerry breaks VWAP here and it's below that 13 once again. I, of course, missed that 13. Whatever. That's kind of stupid to miss that 1330. But I don't want to chase this move. I want to see AMC following through. Otherwise, I keep thinking I can get a better price on that short trade. So I'm going to be a little bit patient with BlackBerry. No need to force the trade. I also want to go back over to Tesla if I can. It is making another leg to the downside. So remember I kind of said 600 and was like, yeah, probably not going to happen, but file that one away in case we get there. Yeah, we're now like at 610. So it is getting to that point where if it falls any further and the market's holding up, I still like to dip by in front of 600. I just didn't really think I'd be staring at, shooting distance or spitting distance away at 1030. I thought that would be maybe like a tomorrow type of thing. Brendan?
It's getting to a point where it's just pick any stock, guys, with a high short interest and go long. So here's another one. BBBY, 7.3% today. Just broke 28 there early on this morning, but consolidating at day highs on volume here for Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah, definitely, guys. I mean, look at that. The only one that's not going is Rocket. We talked about Rocket. That doesn't have any fuel behind it, so watch out for that one. So here we go. We're dug in now. Our last trade. It looks like Ford wants to come off, so we will take a hit here if it breaks through 85. We've talked about that. That looks like it'll go, and we'll miss on this one. I can't believe we didn't get out at least something up there. Now we have to dig in to protect this trade, which is stupid. We shouldn't have to do that. Okay, Tilray though, man. I mean, this one, we'll hit the confetti for it. We'll pop it off, and then we'll do a little dance because, yeah, this name, we talked about it early. We added this to our list, to our sticky note. That's up there, man. Pretty strong there on that one. And let me see, what price did I put? If you guys want to follow, you can, obviously, here. There you go. Bring it. That's what we're saying today. Will Ferrell, I mean, this guy is the best, Will Ferrell. But here we go. Thank you for all the love. Wow, 200 likes now on the sticky note. And this is what we did. Adding Tilray to the list, 1750 break. So we added that to the list. And look what's happening right now on Tilray, guys. 1784. So you wanted a Tilray break. There it is, man, 1750. We took that early. We did have to average into it. We talked about this trade. So here we go, backing up our positions by averaging in. We'll see. But there it goes, 1785, a nice little runner for Tilray, up that 5%. Always take profits when marijuana spikes, guys. Okay, Ford is right back. I am going to take out something here at 93. And of course, it cracks to 92. Now to 90. Why did I have to go to you, Ford? You were rocking and rolling off of that. So our average price, 94. We almost had some outs there at 93s to lick some of those wounds, but it doesn't happen. Oh, as soon as I go over there, it turns around. Hey, man, I can't believe we're having such a big day considering that luck, but hey, it'll be back.
That happens. Look, that's going to happen sometimes, right? Like if you pick a good level, sometimes part of it is that the stock. Other people look at that same one. Nick W. There talking about EXPR here. A break of 521. I mean, it's a. I'm going to assume that you're talking about a big order that was there at 521. So I'm not really sure. I mean, this is in the middle of the range. It has made a bit of a double top at 534. You call it 535 if you want, and it's been bouncing off VWAP, so the trend is good. There is a notable short interest. I'm not sure the exact number on XPR, so maybe we'll get that for you guys. And it still has some levels that we can burst through here to get a continuation, even if it takes out 535. You look at 70, and then you go right back into $1 from the current high of the day, that 635 area as well. So, I mean, the momentum-wise is good. There's still room to run. It's holding VWAP on the bounce plate. I just don't see anything particular about that 521 unless it was an order which is either pulled or got filled in here. So let me know if that's what you saw there, guys. Sometimes those big buyers and sellers are a good clue. I just wasn't watching AXPR at any point this morning to be able to see what happened there on the level 2, but I got to assume you meant a big level was broken, in which case it does matter which direction it was broken into. Already?
Yep, we're ready for Sector Watch with Brendan.
All right, let's have a look, guys. Quick look at the overall market here. The S&P about 0.25%, 0.23 to the upside today. Second day in a row, it's the energy sector that's leading the way. We talked about it in the pre-market a little bit. SLB, PXD, NOV, HFC, to name a few among the leaders down here for energy stocks. The entire thing, once again today, moving higher. On the other side of things, far corner there, materials to the downside. So we saw material stocks along with energy stocks higher yesterday, but not the case so far today. Consumer discretionary stocks also offsetting some of the positivity so far today, some of the reopening type stocks. Outside of these guys, though, the cruise lines, both NCLH, CCL, RCL, all up about 1 to 2% here. Well, there's Penn National down 3% on the day. Some of the hotels in negative territory, Marriott to name a few, along with LVS to the downside. There's Tesla, I want to point that out, 1.4% in negative territory. L Brands here not having a nice day, 4% in negative territory. Tapestry 4% as well. There's Ralph Lauren, HBI, PVH, all about 2 to 3% in that consumer discretionary group. Tech stocks are trying to bounce. You can see NVIDIA front and center here, 2% to the upside in the semiconductor group, along with Intel. There's AMD, 0.9%. So good to see some of the tech stocks bouncing back again, trying to help out the market overall. These groups here, so financials and industrial stocks, any of the smaller groups within that, all very, very flat on the day, not really doing a heck of a lot. The banks are negative, diversified financials negative, capital goods a little bit on the negative side, but it was positive early on. So overall, about 0.3% now for the S&P. Guys, back to you.
All right. Yeah, so let's just go back to Ford. We did take a little bit out there. It does come back to 93. We talked about believing in that level. So it comes back, but we did get some out 92s, now 93s. So we're still holding it, though, guys. We like Ford for the long side. We've talked about that. So we'll hold that now. See if we can't get some. I mean, our average price now 92. When we started to build this thing, our average price was, what, 94.75, I think. So we're back to flat now. But again, like, we're just trying to, you know, lighten the load in case this thing comes back down, because right now the S&P 500 is at day's high, as is the NASDAQ, cracking higher, not cracking lower right now, up that 0.43%. So we should be able now to watch Ford fly a little bit here if it wants to. So my next offer, actually I'm offering right now some at 94. See if we can't take a little piece out again here at 94. So that should, I'm surprised we haven't got filled yet, but we are on a paying gateway, so there it is. So we get filled now out of Ford, and now we'll wait for a little higher upside now to see if it can go, man. Here's 95, so Ford right now right back into the money. The only position that we're gonna be a loser on today is unfortunately one that we really liked. I really liked Zoom today, and you know, this may just be the one that gets us in trouble. So I'm gonna offer. Go ahead. Yep.
Morning, Sean.
Go.
If you have like one losing stock or like your biggest lose, whatever, it should be something that you really believed in. Because if it's not, then you've done something, in my opinion, you've done something wrong, right? So you shouldn't, if you take a hit, it should be something you had conviction in. Otherwise, it wasn't worth it in the first place. So if I got blown out today on BlackBerry, then you know that's okay because you have a plan of action and you follow it. If it doesn't work out, the cost of doing business when you are trading or investing, whatever it might be, is that there will be losses. No one wins 100% of the time. Anyone that tells you is running an algorithm, right? Like, you can have 100 trades in a day and win on 80%, then win on a daily basis, but 100% of your actual trades winning, get the heck out of here. Speaking of BlackBerry, broke below VWAP again. AMC's at 39. I said if that broke 39.50, I would be short in BlackBerry on the turn, and I got it again at 12.93. So once again, picking on BlackBerry, not because I hate them, but because the momentum on this particular meme stock is to that downside.
Yep. Well said. And yeah, I mean, that's it, right? Yeah, we're not. Look at NEO, though, guys. Rain it down. As much as we could say about Zoom, we could say the opposite about NEO today. Look at that. We talked about this bid, okay? We talked about where we'd put our bids, what our plan of action was, and what we were gonna do when it happened. So there it comes, right down there. I told you the low 80s was our bid. We actually bid 85, and now we rip up to the high side right now, and we're long NEO 95. Because remember, we did have some average prices in here. So a nice little 95 in, out there 42.02, that's 7 pennies, and now we rip a little bit higher on NEO. So let's just possibly, I'm still on Ford on my other screen here. I'll have to go back and figure this out. But Ford and NEO right now, NEO's still 42.05. You know, VWAP's right here at 42.15, so that's a good little spot for us. Let's just get, you know what, I might just get another piece out of NEO right now. There, oh, we missed it. I thought we got 05s there. There it is, there's some 05s out. Yes, we did, we got those. So nice little trade there. We'll hit the air horn for a NEO long off the bottom. All we gotta hope for now is Zoom Media, which we are getting ready for a Zoom guest, and Brendan's ready right now. So, hey, maybe Zoom will work perfectly and the stock will rip up. Let's go Zoom and let's go to Brendan for a big guest of the day.
All right, guys, thanks so much. Yeah, he's a best-selling author. He has his own podcast, a great podcast called Breaking Banks, and he's also the founder of a company called Movin in the fintech space. Brett King is joining us on the show today for the first time. He's a very busy guy. We're fortunate to have him, so let's not keep him waiting and bring him on, guys, whenever we can. And we'll jump right into an interesting conversation here. It's good to speak with you. Good to have you on the show, Brett. Lots to cover here. You're, as I said, a busy guy. So let's jump right into Movin to start things off. This is an interesting concept in the financial space, in the fintech space. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself, just as an introduction quickly first, and then let's jump right into Movin.
Sure, I'm an Aussie that's been living offshore from Australia for 20 years. I spent time in Hong Kong, Dubai, and have been in the US for the last almost 11 years now. I started as a technologist and then got into writing about a decade ago, and that spurned a number of sort of entrepreneurship moves, creating Movin as the first mobile challenger bank in the world. We since have pivoted to becoming a banking as a service platform. We've got TD Bank as a client, as an example in North America, and we're in 17 different geographies, and we basically help banks now get digitized.
It's a great app. First of all, I've tested it out. I had a look at it over the weekend. It's very well put together, very interesting concept for Movin. A self-proclaimed futurist. Tell us what that means.
Well, I guess in terms of being a futurist, it's really looking at how the future is going to change the world around us, how we're going to live with technology, how it's going to change sort of the socio-political, economic constructs that we're used to, particularly the emergence of artificial intelligence. All of that requires you to both be able to look at the trends and look at how things are likely to change, but more importantly, look at history and see how human behavior, has sort of set a pattern of how we adapt to these changes in the real world.
And Brett, are we seeing, this pandemic, hopefully, anyways, is coming to an end? Are we seeing a change? Let's focus on the banking sector here a little bit. How does this pandemic and the result of what is to come in the new quote unquote normal going to change because of what has happened? And is there going to be, more room and more space for apps like Movin and more of an online presence for banking?
Well, there's two major trends that are affecting the banking and financial services industry more broadly. The first is the shift in terms of distribution, so moving from physical distribution systems to digital distribution systems. But in the banking system, you've got a lot of friction, a lot of compliance, and so introducing technology is lowering the friction across that sector. So you get this trajectory we're going to, which is low latency, low friction embedded financial services. A good example of that right now is like buy now, pay later capabilities. You don't need to have a credit card. You don't need to negotiate an overdraft. You can get access to credit in the moment when you need it. And that's sort of a good proxy for the type of shift we're likely to see. Now, during the pandemic, of course, this digitization effort sped up, but we already knew from that trajectory that we'd seen, particularly since the mid-noughties, that this was going to be a trend, that was inevitable. Adoption of mobile, all of those things, tie into this. But ultimately, that path to digitization is, what we're seeing globally in every industry.
So you hear the term DeFi almost on a daily basis these days, tied to the cryptocurrency markets. Talk a little bit about how you see this playing out when it comes to the decentralization of the financial side of things, whether it be on a cryptocurrency basis or just regular banking. Where are we, say, 5 years down the road, in your opinion?
Well, you have to look again at this historically, at the use of money, the way we have done finance in the past, and this is sort of a natural evolution given the internet and global connectivity that we have. And so when you see the decentralization efforts, it really sort of is based on the fact that we don't conduct commerce based on geographical boundaries anymore. This is commerce is truly global. It's real time, and so we need better constructs than sort of the regional or geographical regulation and like fiat currencies and all of those things that we had in the past, moving into the 21st century, where artificial intelligence is going to sort of pull all these systems together. So as you look at, particularly probably in the mid-2030s, as AI comes in to automate government and a whole range of services, you need new paradigms to think of the way that finance should work together. AI to AI or machine to machine communication around trading and commerce is going to be very common. The existing regulations where you have to sign a piece of paper to do stuff don't make sense in that sort of world.
And we're already seeing, some of that technology coming into play, whether it just be in the voice activation of the ability to, make transactions and do your everyday banking through the Alexas or the Google AIs of the world. Where's the next step when it comes to specifically the financial sector and AI?
Well, we're about to see the Worldwide Developer Conference for Apple, where they're going to release details on their augmented reality technology. When we really look at the impact of these technologies in respect to your day-to-day banking, the emergence of smart glasses, voice-based AI, the smartphones are all in concert going to have a pretty significant effect. Where, from a consumer perspective, 99% of your day-to-day banking and access to financial services, whether that be value stores, payments, or the ability to move money or access to credit, will be through a technology layer, not accessing through a bank in the typical way. So the ecosystem of 2025 or 2030 really involves three core players: the tech giants who own the technology layer, the surviving banks, and I say that deliberately, and the fintech players who have the specialist capabilities in this arena.
Let's talk about the book. You've written in depth in the past on the banking sector, 3, correct me if I'm wrong, or is it 4 volumes? There's Banking 2.0 through Banking 4.0, correct?
Correct, and then Breaking Banks, Branch Today, Gone Tomorrow. But I've done a couple of pure futurist things as well. Augmented Life in the Smart Lane, and my new book, The Rise of Techno-Socialism, is out in October.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What can people expect in the new book?
So the biggest challenge we saw with the pandemic was that it really impacted economic uncertainty in a big way, and this problem of inequality, resulting in that economic uncertainty is sort of a global phenomenon now. It's resulting in increases in protests. We've had 1,000% increase in protest participation in the last 20 years compared with the 20th century. But we have upcoming crises that we really have to think about philosophically. So it's more pandemics potentially from like glacial melt and release of primordial viruses. We have AI and its impact on employment, and of course climate change. And so this really requires us to think very differently about the organizing principles of the market, the organizing principles of society, how we govern, and that's really what this book tries to tackle: is how philosophically will humanity have to adapt to survive these rolling changes and crises that are likely to come down the pipe.
You mentioned a number of interesting topics there, but if you had to sum up, techno-socialism, what is that to you?
Two major trends that we're going to see in the 21st century. First is the use of technology to dramatically reduce the cost of governance and improve the efficiency of the use of technology for things like healthcare and so forth. And on the other side, a move to much more collective view of the world, away from individualism. Because climate change, you can't have a national climate change policy. It has to be globally based. Same with what we've seen with the pandemic. The best success is when humanity works together as a species. So ultimately we have a choice. There's 4 potential outcomes based on inclusion or exclusion, and based on sort of a chaotic future or a planned utopian future. And we classify those as lots of failed governments, Faildistan, a Ladistan with the rejection of technology, techno-socialism with the application of technology for a better society, and neo-feudalism, where essentially it's capitalism gets supercharged by artificial intelligence and the massive wealth it creates.
The rise of techno-socialism, you said the fall. Is there a specific date, release date, or where can people look for that?
Yeah, October 21st is our global release date. Thank you.
And where's the best place to find it when it comes out?
Well, you can check out brettking.com or technosocialism.com, the new website we're launching, but of course, wherever good books are sold.
And the Breaking Bad, I want to say Breaking Bad, but it's Breaking Banks podcast. Is that a weekly or a monthly podcast?
We've been running it for 8 years. It started around the time of Breaking Bad, so hence the name. Yeah, we've been running it weekly for 8 years. So it's a great back catalog. A lot of the big names in fintech, of course, if you want to hear about them and their origin stories and things like that, it's all there on the Breaking Banks podcast. We have about 7 million listeners annually, so it's one of the top 1% podcasts in the US.
Yeah, check out brettking.com. Very interesting topics, and look forward to a future conversation. Brett King.
Thanks for the opportunity.
There we go, guys. Interesting. Yeah, watch out for that coming up this fall, guys, on techno-socialism.
I mean, you talk about learning. Sit back, relax, sip some cognac, and get some learning on. Obviously, a fantastic guest. And I want to thank Brett King for coming on here. And we have a couple of minutes to go. Remember, we are of course always back for 3:15 at the close, so tune in for that. I saw someone asking about CCL a little bit here. Look at it, and I can't just sit here and say, hey, short every single price you want, but. I'm just going to show you. I mean, obviously, that's a big time run. CCL just recently broke this 30.65, and that's a key price. You go back into April, early April, actually, when it made that top and failed through. And we talked about the 30 break, the 30 failure at the time. You're now holding above this price, unless you're trading, and that's the key. Unless you're unable to hold that 30.65, you're basically looking for fail break at 31, which it just tried to give you that short and is now screaming higher. So I'd probably stay away from it till it extends even further parabolically, or maybe you get like a 30.65 price area. In the afternoon, if this doesn't extend back to those quarters or whatever, I might be looking for a 30.65 trade. But right here, right now, I think there's better ones to look at. Of course, I'm still in Kodak. I'm still trading BlackBerry. And AMC did that thing that it does. I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, I had a dip here in this price at 37, in front of 37.50. It got to about 38, and once again, the buyers just come in much faster than even I'm anticipating there. So I wanted to buy that dip. AMC, the 42 break is still in play, and it cannot seem to follow through on any kind of a short. BlackBerry has been a safe one to be in, but AMC, once again, over $40. Brendo?
All right, guys, a couple minutes to go here. Make sure you come back this afternoon, 3:15. We'll wrap up the day, the last 45 minutes of the session. We'll touch on some of these names coming up here in a second, once again, I'm sure this afternoon. But there's a look at a few earnings for tonight or tomorrow morning.
C3AI. Yeah, that's going crazy today. We just had the guy on talk about some AI there, so that was a good one. Yeah, everything else, I don't know, not too interested in too much else there. Smuckers, I mean, get those pantries full, get those all locked and loaded for some Smuckers jam. That should be a good one here. We did reverse into a short now on Tilray. We got out of our long, which was huge up here, and then shorted the same price we got out. That's why you don't see it. So 95, we got out of our 23 longs. That's 70 cents in the money there. And then we just cashed out again another 5. So we'll wait for some pullback. Someone asked, am I going to go short on a rollover here on Tilray? The answer is yes, until we break the day's high. So let's see if marijuana gives a little bit back. Looks like we will have a losing stock on board, man, and it's gonna be Zoom. So we're gonna have to wait for that one, see where that goes from here. But a good show, great.
Sorry, you're gonna like this one. Rocket just popped to the upside, up now about like 3%, but on volume spiked from 1780 just up to 1850. Just now, right to end the show. I mean, maybe something hit the wire that we know of. We'll see if we can't get to that to you very quickly here. As we're going to Miss V, because we got to do this. I'm hungry. Certainly, we got to find out what national day it is. Yeah, it's always food.
Hey guys, I hope you're all having a good day so far. Thank you for all the support, super chats, and welcome all the new members. Guys, just don't forget to like this video. Make sure that your thumb is raised to the upside. We will see you at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time, and happy National Rotisserie Chicken Day, everyone.
Hell yes. Catapult. Oh, you know what? We actually have a button for that day because it's such a good day, and we've had so many of them today that why not end the show with a little chicken dinner winner? So there it is. Put my head on a rotisserie, throw me on the Barbie, cook it up. It'll be a good one. I promise you. I don't know what that is with Rocket there, but hey, man, we'll take it. I don't know. I mean, maybe Brendan does, but I don't know. I'm just looking at it. You're up now big time.
This is following through. There's something going on here.
Nothing's going on. Trust me, man. I mean, this is the same kind of crap. It went up the other day on AMC News. It got as high as 1928 as well. I just think it's one of those names that they're trying to run up. So that's why I got options on this name. So we'll wait to see, but they don't expire for a couple weeks. So let's see if Rocket can go. But you're right, Neil. The volume's in there. I don't want to say no, but maybe we'll see if Rocket can continue the move. I'm I'm going to hold the options anyways, but let's wait to see where we go on Rocket.
Playing movers, and we'll be back watching that one at 3:15 for Power Hour, that fastest 45 minutes on YouTube. As far as rotisserie chicken goes, you need some good hot sauce to go with that 1,000,000%. You know what we got to do?
I don't see anything, guys.
Nothing?
It's just
It's not gonna be anything.
Maybe a little late to the party.
Damn you, Rocket.
That's a really late. It's still moving. The squeeze names are on. Bed Bath & Beyond is another one we'll be watching in the afternoon. For the entire team, for Ms. V, for Brennan, fantastic interview as always, for myself, Neil Roberts, and Sean Katina. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world.
Cheese.
This is Trader TV Live. See you at the close, guys.